And we are officially a go. So, we're back to back DonCast interviews. Very surprising, everyone. This is a special occasion. Blood Lupus, thank you for following. So, as everyone knows, I like to start with what I'm wearing. This is a pinstripe suit I just got. I'm wearing a tie from Thailand. It is specially designed with silk interior. We are back. Yes, we are, Splice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Huff missing. Yo, Wolfie. Hello. Welcome here. Welcome back. With that out of the way, Starcat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm StarcatTailChaser, a silly orange cat girl VTuber.
All right, so we're gonna
Yeah.
get. Oh, hello, Psychro VT. Did I miss anyone to say hello to? I better say hello to everyone. Shade on 664. Hello. I think I made it. Okay. So we're gonna start with personal background and VTubing journey. It's where I like to start with every interview of mine. Well, every VTuber interview of mine. When did you first discover VTubing, and what inspired you to create StarcatTailChaser as your persona?
Okay, so I discovered VTubing in February. Not that long, less than a year. I was watching videos with my husband and I saw a VTuber and they were having fun with friends playing games. And given my condition, I was like, I could do this. And I wanted a cute name, so I actually used one of my old gamer tags from EVE Online for an alt. Yeah, cat girl's always been a cat.
Stesha Graves, hello.
uh, all my friends are shuffling in. Yay, hi.
Hi. I don't get many people that talk on Twitch anymore, so, kind of exciting. Your bio on X mentions chasing stars or your tail. What's the story behind the catchy tagline, and how does it reflect your personality?
So, chasing the stars or chasing my tail is essentially I'm either chasing my dreams, having fun, or I'm just chasing my tail, being a silly little cat girl, having fun. Both ways are, chasing the stars to grow or do something amazing, or just chasing your tail in your daily life, just being your silly self.
As a quote, silly orange cat VTuber, what are some of the funniest mishaps you've had while chasing your tail on stream?
Oh no. Usually it's my cat walking across my keyboard, typing random stuff or trying to close OBS. I had my teleprompter fall over once, and I was trying to hold the teleprompter through almost an entire stream because the bracket for it is behind my main monitor. Um, Given my health issues, I spent an entire stream holding a paper towel to my nose while trying to hold it in a way that it wouldn't break tracking.
Really?
Yeah, so I have an oxygen hose and it causes a little chafing and like dry cracking on the nose sometimes. And so I'll have basically a bloody nose is the easiest way to put it. And yeah, so I'm trying to like hold off a bloody nose and still maintain tracking and stream at the same time. Control everything one-handed.
You describe yourself as a, quote, normal girl that wants friends and a hobby that can fund itself because I'm disabled. How has VTubing helped you navigate those challenges?
So given my condition, I can't go out and make real world friends. I can still talk to people online and I can still have fun and I can still do things. But also being disabled, I'm in the middle of the fight for disability. I'm a year in. I'm told it's going to take another year and a half. and I have no income. And so VTubing through the kindness of others allows people to, subscribe, to donate, to give bits, to, just be there. You get a little bit of ad revenue kind of thing. And that can help fund artwork and music and things to keep everything fresh and keep everything going. I've already had a model almost entirely funded by my community, which is my little first person shooter military model. And I am so thankful to have made so many friends so far, and I want to make so many more, and it's been so amazing.
In one post, you say you'll never be Iron Mouse, Zentria, or others, only you. What unique qualities do you bring to the VTubing space to set you apart?
That is the big question, right? Everybody is uniquely them. Everybody has ways they respond to things they giggle at, things they love, ways their brains work. Iron Mouse is out there. She's big. She's huge. Zentrea, they're all big and huge. They all have different types of people they like. They have people that fall in love with them. They may like their music. They may like, their model. There may be some guys being a little lustful, that kind of thing. I try and keep my art modest. I try and keep to me, and I just try and be as authentic I can without putting up like a fake face or a show. Other than the fact in real life I'm an orange cat, and in right here I'm a cat girl, but you know that there was a leak. There was a picture of me. I really am an orange cat.
What's the origin story of StarcatTailChaser? Was the orange cat girl design something you sketched before ever going live? Hiroki,
I
hello. Welcome in.
I agonized over how exactly I wanted to do my model. It's actually based on me. It's based on real me. I have red hair, ultra pale skin, freckles, blue eyes. I I made me, and I gave myself ears and a tail. I wanted my model to be me. And I know we've got Stasha Graves in chat. She can literally vouch for this. I've known her for 15 years. Um I just try and be me the best I can. And I wanted it to reflect me. So that's kind of where I came from with it.
Did I might have made a mistake. Did I disable all redeems on Twitch so no one can redeem stuff? I don't know. I hope I did. I hope I did. If not, I will have to do that a little bit later on. Let's see. You mentioned writing music and a character story journal. Can you share a snippet or tease from one of those projects?
So for the character journal, I have been writing in VTuber friends of mine to have names that take place of characters that are in the journal. So Kodiak VT, he's a general. Akuma Miko and Ali the cat, my VTubing sisters, they are going to be in the Isekai journal as my sisters in the next two entries. It's really fun being able to add my friends into that project. And then as for the music, what I want to do is maybe one or two to a month max. They're kind of expensive to get produced. Given my condition, I can't sing, so I write the songs, and I found a producer to help sing and produce the songs for me.
I did not know Ali was one of your VTubing sisters. I would have reached out to her for a question. Did not know. We're going to move on to the category of streaming and content creation. In your pinned post, you invite people to, quote, let's be friends. What's the most memorable friendship you formed through streaming?
Through streaming, oh geez. It's hard. There's a couple. I can't just pick one. Obviously, Big Sister, Akuma Miko, from day one, she's been astonishing and amazing and sweet. My other biggest friendships have been Kodiak VT. He can be pretty protective of me. He's sweet in his own way, but he is a big giant grizzly bear. And then one person that doesn't get the attention he deserves is Elias.
Lies.
Um, yeah, Elias VT. I stream with him a bunch, and he is sweet. He is kind. He's trying to balance real world stuff and streaming stuff, and always stressed about everything. And he's like one of those little undiscovered gems that I wish everybody would find. He just needs lots of loves and hugs, and so I do my best to help cheer him up.
Yeah. The reason for this interview is actually Kodiak. He asked me to do one with you, and I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Maybe I'll pull
That
him
sounds like a
on
Cody
stream
thing.
one of these days. Should ask him.
You should do a Hot Ones challenge. You should make him do a Hot Ones challenge when you do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know what? That would work because, interviewing and hot ones, that's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly what they do.
If you could
Cody, I love you. I'm sorry.
if you could collaborate with any non-VTuber celebrity for a stream, who would it be and what silly challenge would you set up?
Oh, if I could collab with anyone, it would be Mark Rober. Um, I've actually put this out there before. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and there's always forest fires and everything, and it's going out and replanting a forest isn't something that I could do easily myself, given my condition. But my thought was, he's a NASA engineer. What if we could make a drone that plants trees? And I could fly it around and start planting trees everywhere. So that's my dream collab right there, is working with Mark Rober to make a drone that goes around and replants the forests.
That's a good one. Let's see. I think we need bathroom renovations on speed dial. True. Let's see. What's your go-to tech setup for streaming? And has there been a quote tail chasing moment where you failed?
Oh, very much so, very much so. So I rely very heavily on Stream Decks, and I only recently started using scenes in OBS. Everything originally was in one scene, and I just controlled everything with Stream Decks. And in a recent update, OBS decided to get rid of the add-on I was using with the Steam Decks to control everything, and it wiped 96 buttons that I used for
90.
controlling.
How many did you have
And
originally?
um well, 96 buttons is what I use. Multiple pages. I have 4 Stream Decks. I've got 2 XLs, I've got the Plus, and I've got a little Neo that controls my little happy Ingy toggles. Yeah, I got Ingy that day. And yeah, it was just before a stream. And I launched everything to pre-check, and the update happened automatically and destroyed everything. I didn't cancel the stream. I ran everything manually in OBS, like activating all the scenes and everything. But I am still reconstructing, and because of the changes I did, I'm at 128 buttons and counting, and I still need to do 2 more pages. So I flopped on my face that day. I did the most basic stream possible because I could not change things effectively.
If Starcat could host her own late night talk show, e.g., like, you know, Jimmy Fallon, what wild segments would you feature?
Ooh, that's a rough one. So obviously we're gonna have to meme famous people. We're just gonna have to take it like meme of the day famous people. I don't care what political spectrum, what anything they are. We're memeing everybody. Nobody's safe. Memes are the spice of life. I don't know. I'll turn the president into a hot dog and whoever their opposition is into the bun and stick them together. I don't know.
Good answer.
But yeah, it would be memes.
All right, we're going to go to art, music, and creativity. Your swing under the moon illustration evokes a dreamy vibe. Does it tie into any specific story, such from your character journal?
So that piece of art was originally from Nova Y Studio
Okay.
as one of their YCH arts, and I fell in love with it the second I saw it. And the first thing I thought was, if my journal ever becomes an actual book, I want this to be the cover because I'm StarcatTailChaser, and it has me up in the sky on the swing. And I took that piece of art and had a person animate it because it wasn't a service that the original artist offered with that piece of art. And that will be the cover. If I get to 200 entries, which I should, will be the cover of my journal volume one. I don't care what anybody tells me. When I get a consultant or a proper editor to turn it into a book, that is the art piece. I got commercial reprint rights on that art piece just so it can be the cover. I love it so much. It touches my heart.
So sweet. As someone who writes music, what song lyric you have penned that captures the essence of being a silly orange cat girl?
I wrote my intro and just climbing trees, dashing around, having fun, giving my heart to people. Um, I am bad at memorizing the exact lyrics after I write them, but it goes along the lines of basically giving my heart to you and let's go play. Um, I want friends. My journey's about friends. And that song is very much about I want to protect my friends. I want to give my love to my friends. And I want to have fun with my friends. And that's why I wrote that particular one and made it my intro song.
Your posts often feature vibrant colors and cat motifs. Do you have a favorite color palette for Starcat designs?
So the red and blue, or the red, orange, and blue exists partially one because Ginger modeled my character after that, but it's also because my art teacher hated mixing hots and colds, and I always loved the red and blue and orange and blue, and I always got in trouble for it. So I've always been drawn to it because I was told something I couldn't have, and it just kind of fits me. I'm a weird duality of hot and cold. So that's why all of my art tends to be I am red and what calms me is the blue.
Uh, Greeny Wolf said, "Sorry, I'm late, Star." Not
Green.
not that late. And Spiritual Geeky is I do want to say he is right. He's using the new Starcat chibi. If you are in the Kick chat or the Rumble chat, if you want to spam Starcat to show her love, you can. We do have more chibis on the way. Everyone that gets interviewed gets their own chibi, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, definitely spam that emote. BM worked pretty well on it.
I'm a cheeb. I'm a cheeb.
Okay, let's see. How does your creative process work for the character story journal? Is it stream exclusive or something fans can access elsewhere? Now, this is not for me, it's for someone else. Obviously, I know the
Okay,
answer.
so my character journal currently lives on Yancord. Originally, it was on X, so it would be open for anybody that wanted to discover and see it. The problem is the platform itself doesn't allow for edits, editions, anything like that, except for the main post, and you only get that for about an hour. So as I got new artwork that was taking a while and other things to it, or if I notice a mistake, I can't go back and edit it. So what I've done is I reached out to my big sister and I said, "Hey, I have this story journal I do, and can it live here on Yancord? It is the biggest social community outside of X that I'm a part of." And she graciously said, "Yes, it's up by the announcements, and anybody that comes in, they can see it." And as far as the writing process, it is I don't want to metagame it, if that makes sense. I don't want to know where the story is going. As I write it, I want to feel what my character is feeling in the moment and portray that. So each day I sit down and I make my entry. I'm in the moment. It's rolling the dice as I go. I don't know where the story will be a month from now. I don't know where it'll be a year from now. And that is so that I can try and capture that realism of a journal of living in the moment to make it hit that way. There will be freakouts, there will be good days, there will be unexpected things that happen. And I want it to be uniquely human.
All right. Community and interactions. You emphasize forgiveness in social media. What's a time when the community rallied around you during a tough online moment?
I know we'll probably go into this later. Another VTuber was being dogpiled by other people, and there were concerns that there might be some self harm. And due to the communities they were interacting with, and the fact that I spoke up to say, "Hey, don't do this. Give them some space," things of that nature. I got dogpiled on, and it was not nice. But my community calmed things down, and there was a second incident later with a different larger creator. Her community dogpiled me. Somebody impersonated me on VGen. They ripped my art from X, which was heartbreaking for both me and the artists. They made a fake account and they started basically messaging artists and putting in fake commissions, saying some of the most horrible language, racist, sexist, you name it. Like, if it's bad, they were throwing it in there and sending it out to artists. And I met some really kind artists that day. And so the person who impersonated me, I publicly forgave them because I don't know what's going on in their life, but obviously they need some love and some attention. And on the other side of it, their negative action led to a very positive. I've commissioned a few of those artists that I met that day. I have some very beautiful art from them. And forgiveness is something that we don't give often in social media because people can post somebody's mistake for years down the road. And people can't learn and people can't grow and people can't change if we don't give them space to move on from their mistakes. So
For
that's
those
why I love forgiveness.
that are new here, I read chat if there's any chat or respond to it after she's done with any questions, so she can fully get her choices out. So, Kring says, "Nice setup, BTW. Thank you. I appreciate it. We work very hard to make everything the theme of the person we're interviewing." Sprinkles says, "Everything happens for a reason. Actually, super factual. Believe that." How do you foster that, quote, "let's be friends" vibe in chats? Any icebreaker games or traditions unique to your community?
One of the interesting ones that kind of arose in my community, and you may see it in a lot of my posts, is the red and the blue hearts. I started off like anybody else using a red heart, and then one day I'm like, well, I'm red and blue. What if I start using a red and blue heart? And then other people loved it, and they started doing it in response to posts that I was making, and it kind of became a thing where I use a red and a blue heart to convey love and friendship to the people I'm talking to or at the end of my posts. And you can pick me out pretty quick in some of my posts because you'll see that little red blue heart. It's almost like signing your name on the end of a letter. And I hope that when people see that little red blue, it makes them smile and it makes them feel love, because that's what I want. I want my friends to feel love. And I'm still new. There's different cultures, there's different traditions that'll pop up. One of the ones we have that's really silly is we give ad cookies when ads pop up. So we'll be streaming, ad pops up, and everybody goes, "ad cookies," and we spam the cookie emotes. We spam them hard. We'll give them cookies and juice box emotes so they can have a snack while they wait to come back. And it's just cute little things that pop up like that. And I can't wait to see what just kind of naturally, organically develops going on in the future.
All right, well, you made it through page 1.
Yeah.
Posts like, quote, celebrate being you. Show your supportive side. How has VTubing community helped you embrace your own labels?
Um, the biggest label that the VTuber community has helped me embrace is literally to be myself. All my other labels have gone out the window. I I am me. I I may be disabled, but that's not a label. It's a condition. I may have other things that, birth defects and things that you'll probably ask me questions on later. But I don't need labels. I just need to be me. And being a VTuber has helped emphasize that. And I love being me now. I used to be kind of silly, kind of shy, very talkative once I got to know people, but it's taught me to embrace just being myself.
Mr. Odysseus, hello. Let's see. You mentioned Chaotic Mavericks and I spelled her name wrong. Okay, I say Akuna Kumamiko's group. What is the wildest group stream idea you've brainstormed with either of them?
Oh, trying to think of the wildest. Among Us is pretty tame. So we had the Hot Ones challenge that happened is for the fundraising for the children's charity is probably the absolute wildest one that we've talked about or done. Most of the stuff I've talked about with Big Sis is just like art streams, playing games together, like normal everyday stuff. There is one. Oh, there is one. There is one. Okay. So for Halloween, we were gonna do a skit, and a couple people didn't feel well, but we had fun with it on one of our friends. And I've learned from Miko about this thing called Neandre. And basically, it's a love obsessed girl in the most spooky, creepy way possible, where all logic goes out the window and she uses her logic or he uses their logic of love to justify absolutely anything, which is perfect for like Halloween, spooky, creepy. And poor Elias was the recipient of me practicing kind of my voice for that on stream. It was really fun.
Oh, lies, sure, hi. Oh. Rolf.
Elias.
Rolf is one of my mods here. Hey, Rolf, can you pin Starcat's Twitch link in the kick chat, please? I would appreciate that. All right, personal reflections and growth.
Ooh.
In your recharge post, you mention a tough week, but getting back up. What's one self-care ritual that helps you, quote, recharge as Starcat?
This one's gonna be odd. This one's gonna be odd, but my hubby knows this one well. I will, if I'm having a bad day and I have no energy left, nothing. I go to the bedroom. I grab every plushie in the room, which is a lot of plushies. I'm a plushie holic. Not as bad as Miko, but still a plushie holic. I cover myself from head to toe in plushies. I turn on one of my favorite animes, and just through a little hole between the plushies, I just watch the anime until I either cry or cry and fall asleep just to vent the stress. And then usually hubby comes in and wakes me up and rubs my back and tells me everything's going to be okay and comforts me. But I let myself just hide and feel the stress and vent the stress, and I work through it instead of hiding through it. So when I have a really stressful week with my medical stuff, with stream, social media, anything like that, that's pretty much my ritual.
Cougar, how much did you miss? You're only half an hour in.
Hi, Cougar.
Your forgiveness post reminds us mistakes are human. What's a reasonable mistake from your VTubing journey that taught you the most?
Hmm. Reasonable mistakes from my VTubing journey. That's a tough one. Sometimes a mistake can be making a comment where you think you're doing good and it causes people to dogpile. So if you're a streamer, if you're a VTuber, especially VTubers have very, very loyal communities that love their Oshi. If you say something, people are going to dogpile. And you may not mean it to happen, but people will jump on other people in your name. And so for me, some of the early mistakes I made were if somebody was being mean, calling them out by name. So if something needs to be said, I try not to name and shame now. That way people don't get dogpiled. Because as much as I can tell my community, don't jump on somebody, there are some people that are still just going to go jump on people and do that social media PvP that they like to do. So my biggest mistakes, especially early on, were naming people if something popped up, if somebody was misbehaving, and I called them out. I try not to include names anymore.
A little comment on that. Apparently, Nines tweeted out that I was her Oshi, and I didn't know what that was. I actually just went and asked her. I had no idea. I'm not in the I don't know what an Oshi is.
Aw.
But that was very sweet of
Oshis
her.
are basically your favorite. They're some people have one ultimate Oshi. It is the person they love the most and they fan follow the most. It's out of Japanese culture. It is the best way to think about it is who is your absolute favorite person that you support. And some people have a couple Oshis. Some people have a big long list. Um, I actually have a couple Oshis. I'm not sure if that's a question or if you want me to say that
It's
now. I
not a
can tell you.
question.
Okay, so my Oshis are Seven, SEVXXN. She hasn't been streaming in a bit because she got a new job. Akuma Miko and Kitsunero are my absolute top three.
Ooh. Yeah, apparently a bull and a rose are my Oshi marks.
Oh, that's pretty.
Let's see here. A lot has happened. This is a quote from you. A lot has happened. I'm doing my best. Without specifics, how has 2025 been a year of growth for you personally?
So I've been going I've been going through a lot on the medical side, and I've started this journey as a VTuber. I started streaming June 27th, and it has been going from isolation to a vibrant world of color, culture, friendship, and of course some challenges here because social media is social media. And it's been a huge explosion of growth in the direction of, I guess you could say, color. I've gone from a gray, depressing world of four walls to a field of flowers surrounded by a beautiful forest. And I love it.
As someone disabled pursuing a funding hobby, what's a small win in VTubing that made you feel truly, quote, okay again?
Other than just making friends, VTubing and the artwork can be expensive. And an idea came up for me to have a military model because I like playing shooters. A lot of my friends are military, ex-military. I have some personal military history as well. And it got mentioned that I should have a military model. And it was in the middle of a stream, and the community just nuked me with subs and bits and donations. They wanted me to have that model so bad. And, models can be expensive, outfits can be expensive. And that model's pretty much been fully funded by my community already. To about $1,100 is what my community donated to cover that specific outfit. And I was astonished because that's a big amount. And they did it in about a month. And that moment made me realize that the kindness of others, as long as I appreciate them and care for them properly and thank them, can carry me through so that I can continue to do this hobby and keep it fresh for everyone. Because there's other things like subscriptions and things that'll be cost over time. And that moment made me realize it is possible to keep doing it.
I honestly didn't know until we. Oh, okay. Hard to roll. Health challenges and VTuber life. In your conversation, you mentioned getting severely needed medical equipment that stabilized your O2 levels. How has that CPAP machine with googly eyes become a quirky part of your daily routine?
So we did some sleep testing on me and some other testing. My oxygen levels were getting as low as 82, 83, which if you know oxygen levels, that's right around where you're getting to where you need to go to the hospital. And not having that because of the insurance challenges that were involved, I didn't feel like I was sleeping. Every time I went to sleep, I had no energy when I woke up in the morning. I was just dragging. And it was only fairly recently when I was able to get that device and get it working. And I tend to turn everything into a friend. So I have a giant googly eye kit and I run around and all my medical stuff gets googly eyes. And I turn it into friends because medical stuff can be a painful thing and a frustrating thing. So I try and turn it into a positive by making every little device into a friend. And with streaming, it can be a struggle because if I don't have these devices, if there's a problem going wrong with them, it impacts my energy, it impacts my ability to stream, things like that. I may have to cancel a stream, but when I have them and when they're working right, I can do okay. I'm not going to do the best, but I'm going to do okay.
You shared that your SpO2 was dropping to low 80s. What warning signs do you watch now to catch those dips early?
So those dips, they're kind of hard to track. A lot of the worst ones happen while I'm asleep. My condition also causes me to, the best way I can describe it is forget to breathe. I will stop breathing until a diving reflex kicks in. Sometimes I'll faint in my chair. Sometimes I will get just get dizzy, get sleepy, start yawning a lot. If I start yawning a lot, I know that my body's asking for oxygen. And I have devices. I have a little wrist thing that attaches to my finger that vibrates if things get too low to let me know, hey, something's up. I have an extra can of oxygen that is like over the counter athlete oxygen so that if I do have a sudden big drop, I can take a couple deep breaths of that to get myself back up over the oxygen already going to my nose, obviously. So there's a couple different ways to track and handle things and deal with things should something arise.
The post shows relief at avoiding a hospital stay for weeks. How has the equipment changed your ability to maintain consistent streaming schedule?
So having proper medical equipment and medications and everything like that, um, it it makes it so I can manage myself, right? If I'm always in the hospital, how am I going to stream? How am I going to do content? How am I going to do things like that? Being able to have this equipment at home is an absolute blessing. It's not cheap though. It is not cheap equipment, and there's a huge difference between what's needed and what insurance will provide. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that I have had to come out of pocket because what insurance was willing to provide would not properly handle my basic needs for it, like small batteries or changing providers constantly so I can't buy accessories. So a lot of my equipment had to be self-funded.
Living on oxygen and protective isolation sounds, well, isolating. How has VTubing specifically helped you build a social life despite those restrictions?
VTubing has given me a way to have a public face that isn't showing the oxygen tube going to my nose. It's not showing the fact that I can't safely use hair products or makeup or things like that. Um, Basically, if there's any guys out there and you've had a girlfriend and you see her first thing when she wakes up and stumbles around, that's me all day. Because I can't use all those cute little products that let me be cute and silly. I just got my natural self going 24/7. And being a VTuber in a way is like a social prosthetic where instead of putting on makeup, I put on a pixel cat girl outfit. And it's helped me be confident again. It's helped me being willing to reach out. And the streaming aspect of it helps me meet new people and have fun.
You noticed the stress from online drama. Could land you in the hospital due to severe dysautonomia?
Dysautonomia.
Dysautonomia. Thank you. What coping
Mhm.
strategies do you use to protect your health during tough community moments?
When I'm having a tough community moment,
Mm-hmm.
um, the best thing for me is my friends. So I have pretty much a lifelong friend at this point, Sasha. I call him my pixel brother Inif. I've got Miko. I've got my hubby. I've got good core friends that surround me that help let me know when I'm overloaded. Sometimes people don't realize when they're feeling overloaded. And if you have a good friend, they see you how they're acting, they're like, hey, stop, breathe. You're overloaded. Take a minute. You don't need to pass out. You don't need to get overworked. You don't need to, all this. They know my health issues, and it's not only negative stress for me. Positive stress is a thing. So if I get too excited, too happy, too dancy, too bouncing around, that can cause me to faint too. That can cause me to crash out and just, end up on the floor for 15 minutes if I didn't have anybody there. So my friends are amazing. They help care for me, and they without them, it it would be very, very hard, and I'm blessed to have them.
With dysautonomia, you mentioned being lucky to last 8+ years. How has your journey with it evolved since starting VTubing in March? Now, you said February, but I don't know why it says March 2025.
March 2025, I think, is when I made my X account.
Okay.
Like I discovered VTubing in February. I made the account in um I think March, April, May, somewhere in there.
That
I
must have
didn't
been.
even really start posting until I think the end of May, early June, because I was just learning. I was learning how does it work, how does everything go. But as far as my health, it's been a learning curve. It has been a learning curve. I've had to try and figure out how many streams can I handle for how many hours. Some days, if there's too much stress, I might have to not write my journal that day, or I might have to cancel a stream that day. I do my best to stay consistent, but I also try and let my community know that I have these issues, and it's not that I want you to feel bad for me or anything. I want you to be aware that if I have to miss a stream for a day or two, or if I miss a journal for a day or two, that it's a thing that has happened, can happen, and will happen again, because my health is a serious consideration in maintaining my schedule and how I can do things.
Um, the equipment photo that you sent includes a nasal canala,
Cannula.
cannula, and a power setup. What's one unexpected challenge you faced in setting up home medical tech for a streamer? I tell you, I speak English, right? I tell you.
I don't know. I speak one language and it's English and I don't even know it. But so one of the things with Oxygen is we have the main machine in a centralized location, and you have hoses that go to different locations throughout the house. And we've had to experiment with different types of valves, with different types of connectors, different types of things, so that I can move around the house to places I need to go easily without having to run a whole new cable. Because we have a second challenge involved here is we have cats. And if you drag a cable, the cats are going to attack the cable and they're going to bite the cable. And now you have holes in your oxygen hose. So we run the hoses to key locations along the ceiling, and we originally had like a valve system, but it made difficult because if I forgot to switch the valve over, we had to go back and forth, back and forth. So I got these cool little they're just they're not really designed for medical grade oxygen, but they're designed for lab production of chemicals for like moving gases and stuff. And they're a quick disconnect that when you disconnect it, it stops the flow. So essentially I can take the cannula and move from room to room, area to area with a main feed hose and just unclick, click. I don't have to change any valves, anything like that. It just automatically opens wherever it is I tap back in. So it's been pretty amazing.
Community drama and support. Our convo touches on, quote, Shiro Miku fight that then dragged Akemi in for no reason. From your perspective, what was the one root of that online blow up?
Um, Between them, it's hard. I don't remember exact specifics of it.
Okay.
Um, I know I remember the emotion of Miko not being happy with Akemi. As far as Shiro, I don't remember Shiro in that. I remember Miku being a little flustered and upset at Akemi. I know Akemi's come at me a couple times, which also really upset Miko.
Okay.
But I think that's related to a different incident.
Okay.
And for the most part, when stuff happens, I try and look at it both sides, right? If party X is upset at party B, I look at both sides, whether it's a friend arguing or not. Obviously, you want to support your friends, but you also want to look at both sides, all the information. And if your friend's off base a little bit, you kind of help guide them saying, hey, you kind of went a little hard here. This is probably why something went wrong. And, maybe adjust this for the future, or you may want to walk this back. You may want to talk to them a little. If you want a third party, I can talk to the other side kind of thing. You know, Basically trying to be a peace broker is the
Right.
best way I can describe it. Just trying to bring peace to a situation. And sometimes people have a knee-jerk response. Sometimes things like that happen. And if people go after Miko, I try and listen to both sides, and I try and see what's going on. And then once I feel I have a confident picture of what's going on, then if I need to say something or if I need to do something, I will speak up.
Right. I mean, that with writing questions, I usually like to get both sides. That's why I always reach out to enemies of the person that I'm talking with. But sometimes you just have to find like at least quotes of what they said, and to debunk them, because as you were saying, it's always important to know perspective. So like, she never asked, but I was spending time writing Miko's questions, and um you were there on the call. I went to find things that she would not like, just so I have a different perspective than just her words. And I think that's an important thing to have.
there's always multiple sides to a story, and even though we may view something in a certain way, it's only part of the truth, if that makes sense. Like, if one group is looking at a cylinder from one side, they see a rectangle. If the other party's looking at the same cylinder from a certain angle, they see a circle. Well, is one side seeing a circle being accurate? Yes. Is the other side seeing a rectangle being accurate? Yes. But since they only have one perspective, they don't realize that what they're looking at is a three-dimensional object. And so having multiple points of perspective is important in pretty much everything.
Actually, a highly important way to look at it. Never thought about it that way. You expressed having nothing to do with the drama, but getting caught in it. How do you navigate staying neutral when friends or collabs pull you into conflicts?
I have a couple followers that like to at me into things. There's a few things I have noped my way out of. Um, there was a conflict on trans issues, and I have an intersex birth defect. And somebody basically added me to bring me into the conversation to say, see, intersex people exist at Starcat. And my response was essentially, yeah, a really, really tough spot to be just thrown in the middle of, especially when you don't know all of the context and the various chains and posts that are blowing up. And I effectively said, I understand that you guys are discussing this. That condition is separate from the condition that I have. So it's not my position to comment on this current dispute you're going through because this does not apply to me. I wish you both the best of luck. I hope you stay kind. And I will be noping out of this right now. And a few other conflicts that I've been pulled into. Usually, it's like a peacekeeping thing, like a hey, look, these people are going at it, or somebody's just losing it, and I am known to reach out to people that are going pretty hard in a situation, like hey, you're going a bit hard. I understand what you're going for and that you're upset, but the route you're going, A, you're probably going to get yourself a suspension, and B, you may regret being that mean in the future. So take a breath, get a drink, get a snack, take a moment, calm down before you post again, and just
Relax.
breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. Yeah. Yeah, it's a common occurrence for me.
For those on Twitch, I snoozed all the ads I could. Sorry, everyone, but you're gonna have to live from ads from this point on. For those on Twitch,
I don't have emotes. I can't do ad cookies for you guys. I'm sorry.
The discussion references death threats, doxing, and telling someone to, well, K themselves. Okay, we can't say that on Twitch. How has the VTuber community responded to the calls for more kindness in the wake of such incidents?
I have been trying to promote people to be more kind, to take a second to breathe. The VTubing space, I'm new to the space. I'm not sure if this has been a long running thing. A lot of people make it sound like it's been very new, in which some of the very polarizing political positions and ideologies have heavily intersected the VTubing space, and you're seeing external conflicts being brought into the VTuber space. And there are people in the VTubing space from every country of the planet, from every religion, pretty much every ideology. And people are not being tolerant of each other. People don't want to acknowledge somebody's right to exist, even though they have a different opinion. And when I saw this, I was horrified. Absolutely horrified. It almost made me stop VTubing. It almost made me nope out of the whole space. And then I thought, well, if I'm trying to be kind and get people to be kind and I leave, then who else is going to be here to try and spread kindness? It's one of those things that if you want to change something, the first place you have to start is your own heart. If you want to see more kindness, you have to be more kind in your own heart. And then once you're kind in your own heart, you can reach out to others and try and spread the calm, try and spread the love, try and get people to take a breath for a moment and be kinder for others, to step back from some of these hard things they're telling people to do. Doxing can cause real world harm, right? You have SWAT teams kicking the door in a house. I used to work with law enforcement agencies as part of a real world job. And when they go into a threat like that, they need to save a person and protect themselves. They're not going in soft, they're going in hard. Doxing is a serious thing that can get people killed.
I mean, I was doxxed twice, so
Yeah, doxing and swatting,
Yeah.
it's not good. And when you dox somebody, it's some people think it's harmless, but there are some people out there that mean real harm. That now know your name, your address, how to get to you, how to find you, how to hurt you, your family, and make you lose your job, and all sorts of other things that can happen when you dox somebody.
I don't know if I ever told you this, Starcat, but there was a Reddit thread that we had to get taken down. We had to call and get it taken down. They tried to put a hit out on me because of the things I said online. Like, you're absolutely right. It goes way too far, this stuff. Just over words.
Yeah. Nobody should be hurt over words in a cultural space. This space should be, stories and anime and art, especially in the VTubing space. We're literally made of art in the VTubing space. We are made of art as VTubers. And the space should be about art and culture and fun and adventure and all of that. And we have these real world political things that you're never going to get away from. People are going to talk about real life things all over the place. But it was getting bad and it was getting aggressive, and I didn't like the way it looked. And so at least I can try and be a beacon of kindness and try and get people to see that the space can have some love, can have some joy. It doesn't have to all be mad, angry, yelling, and conflict. I mean, sure, I end up in a few drama things here and there, but you can't stay away from all the drama all the time. You're going to get pulled into something at some point, whether you want it or not, because a lot of things are subjective, especially in text. You don't see emotion, you don't see sarcasm, you don't see anything. There's character limits, so people shorten things that need more nuance. You're going to get in drama at some point being in a streamer space, but people go way too hard, way too far over problems that are relatively minor in the scheme of things. They're treating somebody insulting them online as the equivalent of somebody shot their dog. And it's shocked just
their dog.
Yeah, shocked their dog. Freakaya. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
But sorry.
Well, you've made it to an hour. How are you feeling?
Good, getting some drinks, some hydration.
Good. Well, you made it through page 2 as well.
Yeah.
And you only have 6 more.
What? 6?
Yes. You can thank your friends for that one, because they wrote a lot of the questions near the end. Sending well wishes via DM to someone in the drama shows your caring side, which I was 2 pages an hour. Yeah, my interviews are thorough and long, Stesha. I like to be accurate, truthful, and actually show that the person I'm with, I care about their interests, and that I put a lot of work into these, because I think it's important to respect someone if that makes sense.
Right. Cough drop time to make sure my throat hangs in there.
So I reached out to many of the people that you speak with for their DMs with you. Sending well wishes, you sent well wishes to a person. In the drama, shows your caring side. How do you decide when to reach out privately versus addressing issues publicly?
So sunlight is obviously the best disinfectant when something is going wrong, usually. But in this space, you also deal with dogpiling. You deal with other creators that step in and yell and scream. And sometimes it may not be the right moment to publicly say, you're going to do fine. You're doing good in the moment. Hang in there. Because you do that publicly and you get taken down hard in the dogpiling as well while everybody's riled up, right? If you have a wounded dog and you go to pet it to calm it down, you may get bit. And so sometimes you show your support in private DMs first. You get them to calm down and you get them to feel better. And you work on other aspects of whatever conflict is going on in the external space as well and try and help get that calmed down. And then you can address things publicly. And sometimes addressing things publicly, even after that, still blows up hard.
I I understand like that perspective. Personally, I do 90% of my work privately because it's kind of like the nature of my job, finding information and stuff. But I do actually respect that as an answer. The convo includes wishing for people to be kinder and more peaceful in life, as life's too short for hate. What's a real life example of hate turning into healing to your experience?
Hate turning into healing. That's an interesting one, right? For us to know what true light is, sometimes we have to know what true darkness is. If you've been through something really, really bad, it gives contrast to your life. So if the worst thing you've ever been through is somebody forgot your chicken nugget sauce, somebody pulls out a gun and shoots up a McDonald's, like really bad things happen because to that person, that's the worst thing they've ever been through. Um, sometimes going through a bad experience is bad, but our experiences make us what we are. If you do experience something really bad though, it helps teach contrast. As much as you don't want that to be in your life, it is an educational moment. And so some people, when they live in a relative utopia, small things seem big, and they haven't had enough life experience to have something really bad happen, and you hope they never have to have that happen. But sometimes that bad thing happening to somebody is what they need in the moment. If somebody says something bad and they earn some heat, I don't jump right in and away and save the person from, their own potential mistake. I let them get some of that heat back that they've earned. And if somebody oversteps in either direction, then I'll speak up and be like, hey, this is a bit far, calm down. Because for all of the things that we view as positive, negatives sometimes are a positive as a learning experience, even though the thing that happened in the moment is a negative. Over the long term, that negative can give better perspective. So sometimes you let somebody fall on their face so that they learn, and you're there for them to make sure that things don't go too far.
Let's see here. I'm gonna skip question 36. We're not gonna do that one. 37.
Now I'm curious. You got Catgirl curious about
No,
36
no,
now. I'm gonna be
30.
obsessed.
No, 36 was the one we talked about before. That you were following someone certain and maybe did it by accident. So we're just not going to go over that.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Got it. Yeah. Okay, 37. Let's do this.
The
New
convo
number.
we're on friendships and emotional bonds. The convo relays sorrow for people choosing to dox and sending threats. What role do you think education online etiquette could play in the VTuber space?
Education for online etiquette. Well, you know how they have like driver's ed videos where they show what happens to people if they get it into a DUI, a drunk driving incident, things of that nature.
Yeah.
I almost think there need to be some sort of educational video out there showing the worst case scenarios of what's happened to people from doxing, from swatting, from other things that happen, so that people have a better understanding of what it really is. So right now, terms get watered down, right? As people use an insult or a thing over and over again, we hear doxing, we hear swatting all the time. People don't really see what the really worst case scenario is. And as much as it's something that you probably don't want to see, for educational purposes, people need to know what the worst case scenario is so that they know it's not a joke, that it's serious and real harm can come from it. And as much as it's not something that people would be comfortable with, it would be something that should be done for teaching purposes.
Broader reflections and growth. Um, what's one lesson from about a certain drama that you learn when choosing collaborations moving forward, my bad.
For okay, drama and choosing collaborations.
Yeah.
So one thing when it comes to collaborations is you as the streamer are responsible for the people that are on your stream. And I try and play with people ahead of time because I had some people use some harsh phrases, some harsh words that could, potentially get me banned and them maybe even into legal trouble.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that if somebody has a personality and they're not willing to show signs of self-control, I unfortunately have to be more selective in who I play games with on streams. And they can still be friends. I can still play games with them. It's just I can't have them on a stream because it could cost my ability to stream. And also some of the things they say may be a little too harsh. Unless they choose to do some self-reflection. And if I quote unfriend them and stop hanging out with them and things like that, then I also lose the ability to be a positive influence that can help them, maybe adjust things for the better. So simply blocking them, stopping them, stop following them, stop doing everything with them, that doesn't help the friend either. Because then they don't have anybody giving them feedback to say, hey, this may be too much. So even though they're doing things that aren't the best, I stay there to make sure they have feedback that maybe they can get better.
I completely understand. With that rule set, thanks for coming on my show. I feel like it's a tough crowd. Maybe I'm glad you think I'm a nice guy. And no, I definitely understand that. I mean, just yesterday we couldn't stream on Twitch because the interview with Nazi VTuber. That was we didn't want to get banned.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, different platforms have different rules and different things you can say and different trigger words.
Yeah. You emphasize no one should go through threats alone. How do you promote mental health resources in your streams or posts?
I have come across many, many people in some sort of mental instability, mental crisis, being upset. their thought processes are very not quite normal, to not have a better phrase to put on it in this moment. And I try and remind them that there's no shame in seeking some therapy, finding some help, trying to do better, or at least finding a friend to talk to, or things of that nature. Um, you know, there's no shame in having a therapist. I have a therapist. I love my therapist. She's amazing. I go through a lot, and having somebody there that can see my thought processes and things of that nature. Fortunately, I've got a pretty good solid head on my shoulders. I know there are other people that have significant challenges when it comes to their mental health. And there's no shame in getting help, because getting help just means you want to get better. And if somebody's having a difficulty, I want to help nudge them in the right direction, and let them know, hey, mental health is the thing. Everybody needs help sometimes. Everybody has a bad day, a bad month, a bad year, loses a family member. Even if things are going really good, you may overestimate things, and having somebody reel you back in because you're pushing too hard, and maybe accidentally driving off the cliff because you think you're doing better than you are. Having somebody to ground you is a good thing. It doesn't matter whether it's too positive, too negative. Balance in all things.
With severe dysautonomia, I'm going to say it wrong every time. Your fear hospital beds from stress. How has mindfulness or community play helped manage that risk?
You don't want to get stuck in a hospital bed. One of the worst periods of being stuck in a hospital bed, they had me on 400 milliliters of fluid per hour, which apparently is the size of my bladder. They had labs every 3 hours. They had respiratory in for respiratory treatments 4 times a day. They had the doctor check-ins, the nurse check-ins. I did not sleep, solid sleep, for 2 weeks. I was in critical care, and they were debating back and forth each day of putting me in the ICU. And you know, do I ever want to go back to that? No, but I know it's a risk. And when I'm dealing with streaming, when I'm dealing with social media, when I deal with things like that, things that may overload me, I have to be careful, because our emotional health is connected to our physical health. And when your nervous system is literally broken, you don't know what kind of wrenches that can throw. So when I'm feeling bad and my community can sense it, they will tell me, hey, sit this one out. Go rest for the day. I do my best to get through. Sometimes I push harder than I should, but my community has been really kind, and they are very aware of my condition. And many of them have been willing to speak up when it looks like I'm struggling. They'll be like, hey, you look like you're struggling right now. Are you sure you want to keep streaming? And I'll take that as a moment. I'll take that in advisement. It's like, okay, if they're seeing it, maybe it's time to call it for today. So I appreciate my community. I appreciate them in watching my health and how I'm doing things as well, so that they help make sure that I don't end up back in that hospital bed.
Broader reflections in dyslexia got me. It got me good that time.
Dyslexia's mean.
Dyslexia's
mean.
I know, right? The exchange shows vulnerability about your isolation. How has sharing that built deeper connections with your fans who relate?
Well, isolation in my case is medical. For others, it's part of their normal life. They may be going to work and home and work and home, school and home, school and home. They don't have time to go out for social interactions. They don't have, the same type of connections they may have had when they were, in high school or sometimes college. And their daily life feels like a grind. and they don't have time to make friends. They're just working home. And their life may feel like isolation. It may be similar to what I go through. Even though mine is medically induced, theirs may be their schedule, their culture, whatever it is that's surrounding them. I know a lot of online friends that live a very isolated lifestyle, and it's not so much that they chose it, it's that it's what they have time for and what's developed around them. So, me being able with my condition to have these friends in this community, we can at least share time together in a digital space so they feel some sort of friendship connection and can find some joy and some love because it's hard out there just trying to survive. I appreciate everyone that's out there working or going to school or just trying to do what they can to make it because life isn't easy. Not everybody has that silver spoon, and you get more out of life from hard work than luck. And often that hard work is pretty hard work.
VTuber specific twists. In the drama, you got dragged in with a Kemi, or the drama with someone else, which we'll go over later. If you hosted a quote peace summit stream, who from your circle would you invite first?
A peace summit. First person that's probably sitting over there in recent events, in very recent events. Probably Kodiak.
That's a good one.
And he's got a big heart, but he's quick to be a bear. So oftentimes it's getting him to take a deep breath and relax and talk to others. Sometimes when people are hardwired to protect, it's not that they mean to be aggressive. It's that they're protecting something they love, and people are willing to go hard to protect others. And they're bad to protect themselves. So Kodiak is a protector through and through, and he will go hard for just about anybody. And the first thing to do would be to get him to sit down and realize that when he's going hard for others, he's actually hurting himself. And I would get him there. I would get him calmed down. I would get him talking. And then whoever the other side is, I would talk to them for a bit, bring them in, and try and facilitate some calmer communication between them.
First, now you said predictive isolation led to VTubing. What's one quote, a quote from you, social life win from July 2025 specifically, that made the isolation feel less heavy?
From July 2025. A social win. I would have to say that the biggest social win has been the fundraising.
Okay.
We raised about $2,000 for charities.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm a tiny tuber still, and we raised $2,000 for children's hospitals. And being able to be social and friends and to do that much from an online platform is just astonishing. And it's like the biggest win I've got right now out of all of YouTubing is being able to raise $2,000 through my community and friends for those kids.
That is amazing. I mean, that growth is faster than mine because people that know me that are everything I do. Because support group. So yeah, that's like it's like 20, little less than 20% what I've given so far. So that in that amount of time, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a single month. That was October.
Nines. Welcome in, Nines. Hi, Nines. Let's see.
I
From
see
threats
cookies.
to well wishes, this convo is a roller coaster when I read through it. What's your favorite quote unquote plot test with your plot twist with your real VTuber friendships? Which one really flipped the switch on you?
The ones that really flipped on me. Oh, well, she just came in a chat. I know Nines, you're not the biggest on having super friends, but you got one whether you like it or not. Um Initially when dealing with some of the drama that happened, trying to calm things down,
Thank you, B.
she was the first person that I actually messaged and talked to from that group. And she is so reasonable and willing to listen and be a normal person. Like you see her in her responses to things, and people think she's off the walls on certain things just because her responses are so based and things like that. But if you talk to her, she is 100% reasonable, normal person like anybody else. And I was worried when I talked to her that she was just going to go off because the public persona
Take
and
care,
all
Grant.
that.
Sorry, he's leaving. I had to say take care. Continue.
Not a
My bad.
problem. Yeah, I can't remember if I messaged her first or she messaged me first, but it was like a 180. It was, I expected somebody that was just going to drop the hammer on me, and she was absolutely perfectly normal and reasonable. And I was one shocked because the way everything had been going and the amount of stress I was going through. And two, I appreciated her in that moment so much. I don't think she'll ever know.
Well, the next category is actually the snowy incident and VTuber drama. Congratulations, you made it.
Yay, we made it that far.
I
Oh,
love
goose.
I love when people I get a lot of people on Rumble, but not a lot of people chat. So B, thank you for being here and thank you for saying this interview is rad. I really appreciate that. Okay. In DMs, you detailed how Snowy was bullied out of the VTubing space due to her autism and the quote VTard name controversy. What was the exact
Yes.
moment that made you decide to speak up publicly about it?
So I have had a few friends in the past, unfortunately, take their own lives.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
And they had certain language shifts and things they said leading up to things that I wish I would have seen and paid attention to sooner and didn't think that they were just playing off of some joke where they were being a little depressed that day and being over dramatic. And Snowy went from animal quotes and having fun and all of that to I don't want to wake up. If I were to not be here tomorrow, this is exactly how we would do it, which was a really big one. And a couple other chaining comments in that direction um, that really, really concerned me. Because if somebody tells you that they're going to do it, it's one thing. If they tell you the exact details of how they would do it, that means they've put some thought into it and it's not just a passing phrase. And I had serious concerns. I had very serious concerns. She has really bad health issues. And, people going through that kind of constant pain, those kind of health issues, sometimes that stability isn't there and they will actually do something from that alone, let alone social stress. Now, the other thing I saw was hundreds, if not at one point, almost 1,000 messages going her way, all negative, all of it just dropping like hammers on her. And it wasn't that it was the VTARD, the people in the VTARD group. It was the social community surrounding it. And because that group became a polarizing, I I don't know what to call it, like social warfare conflicts, it pulled people from outside the VTubing space. It pulled people from other things. And they just dumped everything on poor Snowy, and she's going through all the stress, and all she's seeing is negative, negative, negative. So what I did is I went around to friends and other people I knew trying to say, hey, let's do a positive post for Snowy. Let's reach out to her and tell her, hey, hang in there. Things are going to be okay. We know you're hurting. Show her that there's some love out there and it's not all hate. And just try and help stabilize her in that moment. And like that, the goal was to stabilize Snowy so she wouldn't do something that she can't undo.
Okay. We have a lot of questions about this Snowy
Okay.
stuff, so don't get too in depth.
Okay.
Yes, we did have a lot of servers who weren't even into VTubing. I apologize and deleted what I had said. Yeah, Nines is very nice. She's very considerate. You mentioned Snowy's significant autism and connective tissue disorder and need for wheelchair and care team. How has her vulnerability in the face of online hate influenced your approach in advocating for disabled VTubers?
So in her case, she has autism, and the way I hate to call it flavors, but there are flavors of autism. Different people have different types or sections on the spectrum of autism in ways they communicate, in ways they understand things. I have many autistic friends, and the adjustment in communication with each one is slightly different. In Snowy's case, things are very direct. And hate is very direct. So trying to deflect that hate, shifting that directness. But each person you deal with is going to be a little bit different. Each person's disability you handle is going to be a little bit different. If you come into a situation where somebody is disabled and they're online saying things, first thing you need to do is learn a little bit about them so that you know how to approach them, because each person is going to be different and have different needs. And that's hard to do in a very expedient fashion, especially if it's a person you don't know very well. The other thing is people can be fighting about something and you don't know somebody may have an impairment or may view things differently because they communicate socially differently because of a condition they have. I've seen a lot of conflict arise from people that don't process the information the same way as each other, and that's what leads to the conflict. So before I engage with somebody, if I only know them a little bit, I will go look at their posts, I will look at their past conflicts, I will look at their recent everything real quick as best I can, try and get an understanding of what their mindset is and how they communicate before I approach them. So it's a little bit of investigative research in a hurry before I actually try and engage with somebody, especially if I've been made aware that they do have some sort of disability.
This is a simple yes or no question for this one. The convo describes Snowy getting upset, quote, VTard, and posting an explanation-laden rant that spiraled into hundreds of hate replies. Do you think direct communication could have de-escalated it earlier?
Yes.
Okay. And you made it through page 3, and it's been
Yay.
half an hour. You are taking half an hour question. That's all right. That's okay. I love
half an hour question.
Great.
Oh no.
No, I mean half an hour a page. B says particularly the money raised to Kids Hospital. Yeah, he's calling you rad. Congratulations, you are
thank you.
Rad cat. Rad cat. That's a good one.
I'm just happy we could help those kids.
With your note to me, the VTARD's members responded, their followers blew up Snowy for days of threats and doxing. What's one specific threat that still stands out as particularly harmful that you remember?
The most harmful one is in one of the random off chains. I don't know who said it, but somebody was all, we're going to go refer you to like some James's doxing service or something like that. And I felt that was really uncalled for, whether they were joking or not. It just, that conflict didn't need to touch anything having to do with doxing whatsoever. It did not need to go that far. You have a group using the name VTARD as a play on the R word.
You can say it.
And
I can censor it out later if you wish.
oh no, I'll just leave it that way.
Okay.
But it's gonna offend somebody. Like if you say it, it's gonna offend somebody. It's actually a technical term. It is actually a technical engineering term that has been adjusted. It means quite literally slow. Um, but yeah, bringing the doxing comment into it and people actually cheering for them to do it is what really was kind of upsetting. I think that was the most upsetting comment I saw out of
Take
everything.
take care, Shadion. The VOD will be up tomorrow, and it's up on Rumble immediately after the stream. Nine says, as much as she was upset at the name, there was also autistic people who loved the name. I always found it absurd that when contacting the word retard to autism anyway. I could agree to that statement.
If I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think with Snowy, it wasn't just the autism link for her. It was the other issues that she has in aggregate that really made it hit hard for her. And she took it personally with the way she processes stuff. And she said some things that were going to get her heat. And the way she approached it, I wasn't going to touch it. She earned some heat. She was going to get some heat. But when it went out of hand, that's why I stepped in, because it went wild. It went absolutely wild after that.
The DMs reference, quote, King Cran, a supposed mod threatening you with defamation lawsuits. What gave you the confidence to push back and mention court discovery in private DMs?
So with that situation, the way that Akimi was communicating and saying things and doing things, obviously, if that's what they were saying in public, I could only imagine what was in DMs. And that mod came at me hard, threatening this, that, and the other, and bringing up discovery is like, do you really want to do this? Because if you want to throw down on that, all your DMs, all of her DMs, all of everybody's DMs are going to get put into a giant pool, and I've got nothing to hide. Mine are squeaky clean. So she was, pushing VTARD as free speech advocacy and trying to block my speech as well via a mod, which, was counterintuitive to the platform she was also trying to platform. And so it was just one of those things. Sometimes you just dig in your feet and, don't let people push you around.
Everyone kind of wants to say their this is Nines. And when you open yourself up like that online, you can't control what happens. So sometimes if you can't handle stuff like that, it's better not to say anything. I hope she is okay now.
As far as I know, she's doing okay. She has her health challenges. She raised money for a wheelchair she needed, which I was really happy about. Somebody basically donated a whole wheelchair to her, so she's been able to get out and go do stuff, which is amazing. Yeah, for the most of it, things look good for Snowy. The only hard thing with Snowy is the way she processes things. Social media is a difficult space for her to live in. She may not understand everything the first time.
Now, I reached out to King Cran, and he says the conversation stemmed from a claim you made, quote, out of the blue, that Akemi's community sent death threat and doxing threats without evidence, and that you two later sorted it out in DMs. With his apology, what were your thoughts on Akemi now? So basically,
My thought.
yeah, your thoughts on Akemi now, because apparently she was the instigator to this incident, according to his testimony.
Um, I kind of felt that it was ordered. The way he was saying things and the way he was responding, it was ordered. That is also part of the reason why I brought up Discovery, that it would bring out her DMs as well, because obviously even a mod is not going to go that hard and that deep of their own volition. Let's face it. And yeah, I had a feeling it was basically direct from her to them onto me, because they didn't want to talk to me themselves. So, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on in Akimi's real life. I don't. It's concerning. I hope she gets help, but it's out of my control.
It was just, I just wanted you to know it was another instance of, someone else. I mean, me telling someone else to do something. I had this issue too. People we didn't know were maybe fresh to the community were acting out of place. As much as I hate Akemi, I can't say I ever saw her order that, but I wasn't active in her server or private DMs, etc.
Understandable.
Okay. The thread shows you issuing protective statements for VTARD's members like Akemi, which I'm very surprised that you did. While supporting Snowy, how did you balance empathy on both sides, alienating your own circle? Color me surprised that you did this.
It's not a matter of if it was for my circle or another circle. It was about things going too far. You had people issuing threats of harm, telling people to off themselves, telling all this back and forth. And it started off in one direction and then it turned around and went the other direction just as hard. And in this situation, nobody needed threats. Threats did not need to be going in any direction. You had somebody that was offended by a name that I would say was ill advised for a group to have because it would cause drama. But it's not my place to tell them not to have that name or anything like that. However, when it's escalating to threats in both directions over over a disagreement over a name, essentially, there does not need to be real world harm for this. Kitsura here did not need threats of harm or doxing or being told to off herself. Shiro didn't need it. Akimi, no matter how nasty they were being, they didn't deserve it either because you're in a space where no one's at that moment doing physical harm. So
Don't
that
don't worry. Nines and Shiro get bring up later in this interview as well. Again, on a different situation.
but yeah, it was people going too far in both directions. And I can't sit there and defend Snowy about people going too far if I'm not looking at the other side and saying people are going too far in that direction too. So if people are being bad in both directions, I'm going to call them out in both directions.
Didn't alienate me. Only more respect, more understanding, restraint, tolerance are needed. That's a good way of putting it. In DMs, you emphasize no one should be threatened with harm. Oh, you basically answered this question, but I'll read it anyway. Either side with
Yeah.
long-term challenges. Do you hope VTuber community implements post Snowy? I think you've got this answer. You just said it.
Yeah,
So,
it was kind of included.
personal health, identity, and resilience. This one's gonna be more on you.
Oh, okay. Yay. Better
Sh-
category.
Sharing your intersex birth defect and being excommunicated by a Methodist church at the age of 7 is incredibly vulnerable. How has that early rejection shaped your, quote, find your own way philosophy in VTubing?
So, I mean, imagine being 7 years old, being religious and told you can't have God. I mean, just think about the impact on your soul if you're a religious person when you hear that.
I would never.
And
I could never. And I don't respect any church that says that.
and so at that moment, I have never felt welcome in a church ever again. And so if I still wanted to have my own spirituality, if I still wanted to have my own way of things, I had to find my own way. And
So,
so I have morals. They're almost like a Christian set of morals, I guess you could say. But they are uniquely mine. And I try and emphasize balance over doctrine, if that
so
makes sense.
So Nines doesn't understand this. I would never kick a intersex, trans, or whatever out of my church. My support group has trans, homosexuals, and if there was an intersex person, which there's not, never would have ever said anything remotely similar to that. But Methodists are known to be extremely traditional, and I would see them like I could see it. In her case, I believe her. kicking her out because of that the way she was born. Yes.
If I may clarify this real quick, I have a XXXY
That's the next
chimera
question.
birth defect. Okay.
Let me read what
Um,
she says, and you'll answer that. Because that's the next question. I don't want to cut you off. I am
okay.
say whatever you want with social media, but there's a line drawn on violence. Yes, there is. Why did they do that? Because the way you were born. Yeah, okay. Didn't allow her. I just wasn't sure. That's crazy. It is crazy. You mentioned having both XX and XY DNA with female dominance. Does weaving elements of that identity into Starcat's help to reclaim empowerment from your past trauma? See why I made you wait?
So yes. Okay. So it's XXXY chimerism, and then that led to abnormal development of a condition called ovigestes, basically producing a little bit of extra testosterone and a lot of estrogen, but testosterone yields louder, so it gets very confusing in the whole science of it all. But I don't like my voice. I don't like a lot of physical features about me because they land pretty much in the middle between point A and point B, if that makes sense. And being a VTuber, my voice is going to get called out. I've already had people that are like, "You're a dude," that kind of stuff, and it's education. Just educating them. It's a biological condition. It's not a choice. It's something I was unfortunately born with. If I didn't have to have it, I wouldn't. The surgeries have been excruciating and painful, and so are some of the treatments I have to endure still. But it's trying to be honest and open with the community in a time where people are arguing over gender, over sex, over who marries who likes who. I got put with this odd, rare condition in the middle of a giant social war going on, where I take strays from all sides at times. I've been physically assaulted from transgender people for not saying my condition is not non-biological. I've been kicked out of an emergency room because they did not have a staff member of the same gender to treat me under their policy. So I take strays from both directions for a birth defect that I have no control over.
B says, hold the effing phone. I'm not going to say what he said. I'm a conservative, and that ever conserved. And it infuriates me to hear that a church group has done this to you. I'm so sorry. No, as a deacon, and I run the support group. I get a lot of people that get kicked out for stuff like this. It's quite common within churches, and it's horrible to see. I would never. And I don't like to see or hear it from anyone. It's horrible. We're gonna skip 55. You described the R word as a constant insult with Snowy's situation with her whole life. Has sharing your own disability experiences made you more vocal about the ableism in VTuber spaces?
As far as ableism,
Yeah,
I
retard level. Yeah, level 1. Yeah. I just said, I mean, I have it written as the R word because that's how she quoted it in the DMs.
the hardest thing about words like that in a digital space is you don't know what conditions people are going through. You don't know what anybody's going through. Somebody could use a word in a joke and not realize that the person they're talking to is in a wheelchair and it offends them greatly. You don't see it. When you're in a digital space, you either see a line of text. If they're a VTuber, maybe you see a model. You don't see what conditions the people are really going through. And so people are free to use what language they want. I'm from the United States. We have basic freedom of speech here as long as you're not threatening harm on somebody. So people can say what they want. Will I say using that word is ill advised, especially when you don't know the full details of the person you're talking to? Yes, I will say it is ill advised, but I can't stop you. It's not my place to stop you. I could say it may not be the best idea. It's your choice whether to still, say something or not.
In DMs, you reflect on losing friends to suicide amidst the drama. What resources and conversations help you process that grief? Grief.
My song, A Hug from Me, was somebody I was able to fortunately save. Um, when I was 14, there was a friend that I could not save. She came from a home of heavy drug users. She was dealing with constant physical and other abuse when she was at home. And she essentially ran away from home, was breaking into barns, lying to the school that about practically everything, still going to school, still getting straight A's, and doing everything she could because she wanted to have a better life. And the scenario in my life was that some family members got into an argument of where I should be, even though somebody knew where I was. And I was taken from living with my aunt and my grandmother and suddenly taken to another state. And I had been sneaking out of the house saying I was staying over at a friend's house. And I was sleeping in those barns with her so that she would not be alone. And I was suddenly then taken to another state. She didn't have her friend to be an anchor anymore. And sorry. And she did something she could not undo.
Right.
And it has really shaped how I look at people when they're upset, when they're down, to try and understand what hardships people are going through before I talk to them. Because what we see on the surface isn't is just the tip of the iceberg, especially if somebody's depressed, upset. They could like a normal person on the surface and they could be going through the worst thing you've ever seen. They just have a really strong face.
Right.
And then one day there's just too much and they sink. So it's trying to see the details, trying to see the nuance, trying to see the side things of what people say. And if they seem like something's off, reaching out and making sure they're actually okay. Because I don't want to see that ever again. I don't want to feel that loss ever again.
You highlight the best communication for Snowy would have been direct, given her autism. How do you adapt streaming chats to be more inclusive for neurodiverse viewers?
It's rough. Everybody is different, whether they're neurodiverse or not. Everybody interprets things. Everybody has different experience. Everybody will learn things differently. All I can do is put things out there and hope they interpret it in the way intended in a positive light. I try and make sure if I'm interacting with somebody directly and I know that they have a specific issue that I can adapt to language that will get to them directly or ways they will understand. When I teach people, I usually say things in 3 different ways in hopes that one of the 3 different ways makes an impact and sticks. But you can't win every battle like that because everybody's different. So if you only have time for a single phrase, you're never going to get it perfect for everybody in the audience, no matter how hard you try. So your best is all you can do.
Thank you, Biscuit, for the quote. I appreciate that. That was very sweet. We're moving on to friendship, loyalties, and community dynamics.
Mhm.
How sweet. You reached out to ensure Shiro and Nines were okay during the drama, even asking people not to threaten them. What prompted those specific wellness checks?
I was seeing a lot of the same aggression start to land at their feet and their posts as what was landing on Snowy. And in fact, some of them even looked worse than what Snowy was getting. And if Snowy was under that kind of pressure, um, Shiro and Nines were under the equivalent, if not more, because it turned from a creator on creator conflict into a community conflict into an entire cultural space explosion is the best way I can describe it. You had thousands of people in different directions saying lots of things, quote posting, chain posting, just diving in on everything everywhere. Yeah. And it was wild. And if Snowy was hurting, they were going to be hurting too, because that's a lot of social pressure. And we didn't need anybody doing anything unfortunate in those moments from having too much stress on them. So I wanted to make sure they were doing okay too, because things were going overboard in every direction involved.
The DMs show frustration with the VTARDS members issuing, quote, "I don't want anyone to hurt themselves." The statements diving into attacks, how was that hypocrisy felt in trust of the group's dynamics now that the interviews are out? Which I don't think you watched, but
I caught parts.
Now that that you know what happened and with your experience, just tell me like how you feel about it and knowing more information.
Knowing more information, I think that the real person fueling everything was probably sitting there laughing the whole time. And it wasn't Nines. It wasn't Saturn. It wasn't Shiro. And yeah, I hope they find something better in life, because watching the world burn to watch the world burn isn't going to get you anywhere good in life. And it's not going to get you any friends. You're going to burn every friendship you have. You're going to lose every piece of support you've got. And in the end, that person is going to be in a very angry, dark place that you can only dig so deep before you can't get out of that hole. And so hopefully they find a better path in life.
I have to get ready for an appointment, and I am afraid I won't be back before the end of the the interview's over. Is there any chance I could see Starcat over on Rumble? Starcat does not stream on Rumble. She streams on Twitch. But if you want to watch the full interview, of course, I'm going to leave this up on Rumble and on YouTube. But yeah.
I'm still learning, so I'm only a single platform streamer right now.
You described Nine's posts as erratic. That's the word, by the way. From social pressure and loyalty to the group. Has the shared more about emotional toll since the incident? Anything you can think of?
Nine's posts, while everything was going on, to me looked like she was struggling, because obviously there was a lot of sudden pressure. It felt like she may have been in over her head. She was trying to be loyal to the group, trying to stick with it, but also kind of almost gave that vibe of something's wrong here and not fully just outing it. And so her post changed a little bit. And I think that's part of why I had some concern for her as well initially, is because just the language changed, the vibe changed, everything changed, and it didn't quite look right to me. Something seemed very off and not in a good way. And I wanted to make sure she was okay too. And since she's been out of the group, she seems happier. And things seem more stable. I hate that she still gets a lot of angry posts and things thrown at her, because in a way she was on the peaceful side of the group, and she's catching strays for the hateful side of the group, if that makes sense. But I'm happy to see her happier. I know one of the groups she has recently gotten into, and there are a lot of people that she will get along with very well in that group. And I'm happy where she is now. She's in a much better place than she was when she was in that in VTard. And I hope things keep going good for her.
Okay. That surprises me. That's all. I don't know if Nine's ever joined that group officially yet. I don't think so. Never joined the group and won't be. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was loyal to the group, but can't say I ever was personally struggling. I don't like being called a Nazi and shit, etc. I have the internet with Constant and Drillian. Yeah, I talked about it in the Constant and Drillian. She did talk about it. Her interview was really good. I never joined the group and won't be. Star might mean just the people around her.
Yeah, just her orbit of
Right.
like groups of people she's around now is much better, much healthier, better interactions. She's in a much better place right now than she was, and I'm very happy to see it. I'm very, very happy to see it.
All right. One more on the Fulmar VTAR group. In your convo, you note Akemi seems more abusive while Nines is open to conversation. How did you differentiate between redeemable mistakes and patterns of harm in friendships?
Patterns of harm, it's doubling down, tripling down on aggression, sending people out to be aggressive intentionally. It's showing signs of not only are you going to do the things, you're going to send people to do things for you and with you as well. It's one thing to have a person make a mistake or be in a bad place at a bad time. It's another thing to try and send an army at people. And with the actions of Akemi, I did not see a single individual just saying, "Oh, hey, I'm having fun. Haha, I'm going to be an edgelord." She was actually guiding people to do things, and there's a huge difference between just being an edgelord and actually issuing orders.
All right, we're moving to broader VTuber ecosystem and growth. Love you, Star. How sweet. That was very sweet. Yeah, I like how I immediately deleted my comment when I got real etc versus being more of a bitch. You can't win them all. Can't win them all. Okay. In DMs, you apologize for the book's length, but invited questions. What's one question from this convo you would like to expand on this stream? So something we've talked about. You just want to, get more insight on. Because we're about halfway through it. You're on a new page. Congratulations.
I'm on a new page.
You are.
Let's go. The other thing that we didn't really touch on as deep was the interactions with Shiro were very, very similar to the interactions with Nines. And a lot of the concerns and a lot of the stresses and a lot of things like that. Both Nines and Shiro at their heart are sweethearts. And they took so much strays. And not only did I talk with Nines and issue a post with Nines, I did a similar one with Shiro. And they have been people that I like to talk to and still check up on and still reach out to and make sure they're doing okay. And I hope they have a better future and a better place. And if people view them being in that group as a mistake, then I hope those people that view them being in that group as a mistake allow them forgiveness and allow them a new path and allow them peace and allow them a way to continue to grow in a way that's positive. And I just hope people that are still holding hate and anger towards them find a way to let it go and let them move on and be people and learn. That's what I want to see for them. to just let them
Great
be and
answer.
let them be happy.
Yeah, no, I would consider all of them except for Kemi my friends. Like I've DM'd Saturn Nines and Shiro all today. I think I've talked to all of them today alone. So except for Miku, but he's actually a really nice guy. On the outside, if you look past the Nazi aesthetic, he's a good guy at heart.
And Saturn just got engaged recently. I'm so happy for her.
Yes. The Dawn is my Oshi. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. The convo evolves around radicals. You said radicals, even on Blue Sky, attacking you over trans and intersex. How do you foster safe spaces for marginalized identities on your streams? So you were attacked on Blue Sky. Is that true?
I was made aware that people have said comments about me on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
But since I'm not actively over there, I didn't really track any of that.
I was able to find, and I won't share them with you because they're bad. And I didn't even save them, but I was able to find some comments calling you a traitor on Blue Sky. So
A traitor? Wow.
yeah, a traitor to the allyship, as it were.
If you want to be inclusive, you got to be inclusive for everybody. You can't just excommunicate one group for the sake of another group. Tolerance is important. Tolerance is acknowledging somebody's right to peacefully exist, even if you disagree with them. And that is the most basic form of tolerance. And you have a lot of groups that are pushing forced acceptance, not tolerance. And forced acceptance is intolerant by nature because you are forcing something on somebody else. You don't have to follow what somebody says blindly or anything like that just because that's just pushing more hate in a different way than people are used to. If you want to have a space that's open for everyone, let it be open for everyone. I don't care who somebody sleeps with, what they identify as. I don't care what country they're from. I don't care what political leanings they have. If somebody's willing to be civil or friendly or just be a normal person in chat and discussions in the community when they're watching my streams or things like that, or in the discords, they're welcome, because diversity also requires not just diversity of people, but also diversity of thought. And if you do not have diversity of thought, you don't really have diversity to begin with. So
That just says people are nuts. Splicer says, okay, mega based interviewee. Starcat is mega based. We're gonna give her the mega based sticker. X-Band says, generally that happens. A lot of movements under the guise of good intention, no matter how well-meaning, always can have some bad apples who will push for intolerance under the guise of tolerance.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, happens a lot. Happens a lot, unfortunately. I'm still kind of giggling that somebody called me a traitor. It's like, wow.
The people over there, I tell you what, they don't let my southernness get to you. I've gotten DMs where I had to accept furry porn to talk to someone. I've had to look at transgender nipples for some reason. These people are weird, all right? So don't let these weird freaks get to you, okay?
Okay.
Seriously, don't let them do that. They're not good people. Fundraising, positivity, and future outlooks.
Mm-hmm.
Starting a $10,000 fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network via VTubers is inspiring. How did it motivate you to channel your energy into... How did VTubing motivate you into channel energy into charity?
So this is going to be really funny. The VTard incident is what led me to looking at ways to help via charities. Basically, and Akemi, if you see this, thank you for teaching me a method to be even kinder to people. I appreciate that. So what had happened is seeing how somebody could wield a community in a negative light made me think, well, what good could we do if we could help guide the kindness of a community to do positive things? Pixels for good instead of pixels for Ingy. And so the hilarious thing about setting up for the Children's Miracle Network fundraiser, I was sick in bed on antibiotics, barely able to move, and I set that whole thing up from my phone. And I was struggling. It was hard. I was having a hard time breathing. And it was one of those things I'm like, we're going to help people. Each month, I do some sort of awareness. This month it is No Nut November to bring awareness to nut allergies and food allergies and foods. And yes, I have since discovered that my interpretation of that event was completely wrong when I found out what it actually meant. But after guidance from my community, we went with it anyway because we figured if it caught people's attention, then they would at least think for a split second that, hey, if I'm baking cookies and I'm taking it to a family event, it might not need to have nuts. So yeah, I've been promoting No Nut November for nut allergy awareness.
Now, this next question is going to make a lot of people unhappy. Not very happy. In DMs, you admire a loud public apology to Nara, taking a lot of guts. Has that inspired the accountability moments in your community?
I made a mistake. I made a legitimate mistake. Some forged information came out that looked authentic, and I reacted to it too quickly. And I was loud about my, hey, this is bad. Why did you do this kind of thing? And so if I mess up, I feel the apology needs to be as loud as the first, reaction. So whether I like Naya or not, I made a mistake, and it was my job to appropriately convey that I made a mistake and own up to an apology for, falling victim to fake information that got put out. And yeah.
I understand. I don't like it, but I understand.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether I like her or not. I made the mistake, and I had to own up in my part of that mistake. Whether you like Nyara or not, I screwed up. So I owned it.
In exchange of notes, the apology being 30 times larger than the original post, do you think VTubers undervalue the power of over-apologizing to rebuild trust?
So people don't apologize often in an authentic way in the VTuber space. It's starting to be seen a little bit more here and there, which makes me happy. But if you make a mistake, especially if it's an honest one, then giving a proper apology is important. It shows that you acknowledge you made a mistake. It shows that you are trying to learn to do better. And it conveys to the person that, that this is my actual true feeling on this. Otherwise, you shouldn't even issue an apology. You should just stay silent at that point. Because if you don't believe it, then you're not apologizing, you're just lying.
All right, so I try to stay away from anything that included Miko. But we're getting close to the end of the questions. We still have 3 more pages to do. Don't freak out. But now
3 more pages.
Miko, but we're not even done with page 4, so don't worry.
Mm.
Accountability instead of taking moral high is pretending to apologize appear as a good person. Yeah. All right. Becoming. Wait, no. You discussed false blacklists slandering Akuma Miko, which I did read, and
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
I sent her in DMs congratulating her on getting it taken down. By the way,
Yeah.
she did get it taken down. Although I do have seven gigabytes worth of that information now, which if she ever wants an interview, man, one hell of an interview. Still,
Oh, yeah.
and others has debunked those rumors, strengthening your alliances in your circle. Anything you want to say? Did I read that wrong?
Um,
Rumors strengthened. Oh, has debunking those rumors strengthened alliances in your circle? I read it wrong. My apologies.
it it hasn't. As always, when that information came around, I looked at it, I evaluated it. Um, I didn't believe it to be authentic, and I filed it appropriately in the shredding bin. And I let Miko know that I looked at the information because I'm not gonna tell her I didn't when I did. And I told her, I believe you. I believe that this is inauthentic. I believe it's fake. I believe that this information going around is simply there to abuse you. And I let her know that it didn't change my opinion of her, that I was still with her. I'm still her friend. And I was proud of her for hanging in under all the stress from that getting reposted over and over again, getting people thrown in her face over it, people making videos on, YouTube and whatnot, trying to, stir up drama over it because they're looking for something to dredge. And she's been fighting this the entire time I've known her and worse. And all I can do is support her. I can't change what other people are going to do, but what I can do is I can keep showing her my love and support, which she needs.
So I want to preface this. When I messaged her because she was asking about an interview at one point, not to say too much about DMs, I don't want to say too much, but when I did message her about that thing, I said, I read it. This is slanderous. I don't believe, I didn't believe anything that was written there when I read it before even meeting her and writing to her in DMs. And even now, after her help with getting my mod back on my side, which I greatly appreciate. My mod loves her now. Great person. Who actually pinned the guy pinned your link in the kick chat, Starcat. That was the same guy.
Oh, thank you.
Um, with
They're going to
her
be a
being
taco soon.
so nice. No, you're making Rolfo taco. You're really doing it. You're gonna make his
Yeah, I'm
day.
really doing it.
You're gonna make
Yeah. They sent art in the DM. They're going to be a taco.
his day.
They're going to be a strawberry ice cream taco.
I have nothing good to say about her in that topic. Of course, I would have to go through misinformation if I ever do that interview, and she would have to defend herself on stream because that's how it goes. But I do
Yeah.
want to say that I 100% believe her, and no matter what I say, I want to state that fact now.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you being fair, honest, looking at the information and processing it and giving it a fair shake. Because I've seen too many people that have looked at it and used it as an excuse to attack her for no reason.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I have to go through, I think, if I had to estimate, like maybe 300 pages worth of stuff just for her. If I something insane.
She's a shut-in otaku that loves culture, Vocaloids,
Yeah.
and making friends. That is her whole life right there. She's not some hateful, ingy transphobe like they try and paint her out to be. Like, no, she's welcoming to everybody as long as they're kind.
I
I think that's why I get along with her so well, is we kind of have that same vibe.
I would I would take like a whole week off of interviews for that because there's so much that would have to be gone over. Like I like to announce the next interview at the end of the stream, so I'm not going to say who the next one is yet. But that is, I would have to just take a week off and be like, okay, lady, you got a lot, and I got to write. You're gonna have the longest. It would be multiple parts. It'd have
It
to
had to be like a 4-parter.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
It's more than the Cinder document, let me tell you.
Whew.
You have to applaud the creative writing on some of the people that are against her because it just keeps going by the day.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Becoming friends with Akuma Miko on your first day on X. Did you say first day? Is that a direct quote?
First day.
Okay.
Zero followers, first day.
It's
like my first day actually seriously.
Sweet origin story. How has that bond helped you navigate shared drama like the Nara situation?
She has been in the cultural space for a lot longer than me, and her guidance has been invaluable. She's never told me not to follow somebody. She's never policed who I talk to. There are people that I talk to that she's not on the best terms with, and she's okay with that. Yeah, like she will tell me, you follow who you want to follow, you talk to who you want to talk to. It does not matter to me. If somebody is legitimately harmful, she will let me know. She will show me the information behind it, and she will let me make my own decision. And there have been a handful of harmful / potentially predatory people that I have had to protect myself from. And I'm thankful for that overwatch that she has provided. But she isn't going around telling me, oh, this VTuber over here, she's no good. You have to block her. Don't listen to her. Don't follow her. Oh, that person made me mad, so you have to block them. None of that. She is as sweet as can be, and she just gives guidance. She has fun. If I have a problem or a question, I go to her. And when a drama pops up and I'm confused or at a loss what to do, I will go straight to her and I'm like, hey sis, this just happened, post in DM. And then like she'll look at it and she'll be like, okay. Well, you can go about this, however you want. But she'll give me information on the person if she knows past history on them or not that helps me interact with them better. I'm new to the space. I didn't really start streaming until the very, very tail end of June. Mm-hmm. So there are people that have multi-year histories that have done things that I don't know about, and she knows. And she's been an encyclopedia of cultura.
Of course.
It's been astonishing and helpful. And in return, I don't have that much to offer her other than friendship and just being there for her. And so it is an unbalanced relationship in the fact that she just has so much knowledge that I don't have. But I appreciate everything she shares with me, and I'm supportive of her to the best of my ability.
The DMs highlight Miko's doxing and swatting horrors, which they were. There were horrors. Listening to it, it was horrific. What safety protocols do you now recommend to VTubers facing escalating threats? By the way, I do want to make a note here, okay? Don't look for her docs. You won't find it. I was able to find it, but that's because I know people and am already in the space and was able to get it beforehand just in case. But I do not condone anyone looking at anyone's docs at any point. It is wrong, bad behavior. Doxing is bad mamma jamma. All right?
There is a VTuber that still calls her out by her legal name, accusing her constantly. And X won't do anything about it. It's exceedingly frustrating.
But yeah, what protocols do you now recommend VTubers facing escalating threats? What do you recommend people do?
It's hard. If you know somebody's going the doxing swatting route, obviously get a hold of your local police department, give them a heads up. Hey, I'm a streamer. People are doing stupids. If you get a call like this, here's how you reach me in a hurry. Other than that, it's, maybe sign up for LifeLock. Maybe sign up for some of these agencies that help clear your information off the internet just to make it a little harder. The other side of that is being careful how or what you post. I know I like to post pictures of food and things like that from my real life every now and again. I have to be very careful not to show pill bottles and things like that. There's a lot of documents and other things that you have around your house that may give information that you don't want somebody to have if they really dredge things. So just be aware of what's around you, what has information on it that may be information you don't want to get out there, and take advantage of services. It may seem expensive paying, $15, $20 a month, but that $20 a month may save you from having to move, from court battles, from all sorts of other things that go on after, somebody tries to show up at your house. So just be safe and be careful.
Miko took you in when you had 0 followers. Reflecting on that, what's one early friendship like hers that shaped Starcat's growth? No, I'm not saying hers. A different.
Not Miko. 7 SEVXXN.
Okay.
She's an absolute sweetheart. She hasn't been able to stream as much as late, but she was one of the first streamers I started watching, like, to watch a streamer. And she's sweet, she's kind, she's willing to talk to me. And the other super big one that a lot of people have been surprised by is Kitsunero. Kitsu is amazing. And it started off of asking questions in her chat of how to do something relating to VTubing, and on X how to do something. She ended up holding a little class after talking to her for a little bit of how to do certain things, how to handle social media. From time to time, we'll have some DMs back and forth and talking to her, and the information she's given me has always been truthful, on point, and amazingly helpful. And she's huge. To me, she's absolutely huge. And for her to take some time for some barely here upstart VTuber early on, in the first couple weeks, I didn't even have my model yet. I hadn't even had my first stream, and she was answering questions and talking to me. I am so appreciative for her. There are some VTubers out there with a heart of gold willing to help people. There are also a few that are just out there seeking fame. And the difference between them when you interact is night and day.
I can agree to that statement. I have had VTubers I've actually turned interviews down with because I deem them unmoral. If you know what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. In the convo, you affirm your words standing with Akuma against false allegations. How do you encourage others to fact check before joining on in hate trains? Yeah, don't let the diaper tiger run get an interview. Never. No, I won't let that. I won't let that
guy. Oh no, not the tiger, not the. So in my case, with the Nyara thing, I saw documents. I did a quick review of them. I thought they were authentic. The thing that should have flagged it was the actual quality of the screenshots was low. So somebody basically forged them, put a filter over it to make it hard to see the forgery, and sent it on its way. And so you got to check. You got to make sure timestamps line up. You got to do your due diligence. It takes a little extra time when you're looking at a document. Maybe talk to some people if you know somebody that's close to it, mm-hmm. that may have more information. And even then, if the hate train is an argument between creators, let those creators fight it out. There's no reason to dogpile onto it. You can talk to your community, say, hey, I know this is going on. I know people are upset about it. Give them their space. It's an argument between creators. We don't need to dogpile on. We are just observers in this situation. You look at the like Cinder documents and whatnot. There is nothing most of us could say Like 99.9% of us, anything we could say that would change, modify, manipulate that situation in any way, shape, or form, we are just observers with popcorn, and there's no reason to start jumping out there and yelling hate in one direction or another. Because, you're just observers. It's somebody else's fight. So before you go jump into a fight, make sure it's your fight. If it's not your fight to be had, it's not worth the energy. Just grab your popcorn.
Okay. Now this next set of questions is all about Akuma being your big sister because you talked about it a lot.
Big sis. Big
Like
sis
a
Miko.
lot. Like there's a lot. This. Here we go. Origins and early days. Calling Miko your, quote, big sis and mentor from day one sounds like an instant bond. What was the first piece of evidence she gave you that shaped your early VTubing journey?
The first thing she really did was she just took me in like a normal person and chatted with me and became a friend. And it really solidified that everybody is a person behind the screen, behind, whatever model we're using, whatever language we use, and anything. They're just real people. It doesn't matter how big they are, they're still a person. And from that, we were just talking about culture. She was teaching me about Vocaloids. I didn't know who Hatsune Miku was or Luca before I met her. And she went into that and just started teaching me and helping me learn things. She could obviously see that this whole thing was a bright new cultural world to me. It was a space I had never been in before. And we just sit there and chat about this, that, and everything. And I'd ask her questions about her model, and she'd start teaching me about it and showing me things and how to do things. And it just kept going and going and going. And as I was trying to write my character, I was like, well, my character is just going to be me, number one. But she's basically like a VTuber family at this point, her and the others in the community with her that I was interacting with. So I have my uncle Luna, I've got my big sister Ali and Miku. Um, I'm a Maine Coon just like Miko and Ali, so that we have consistency and everything.
Yeah,
It's just
I
amazing.
almost reach out to Allie for this interview, but I didn't because she wasn't listed under like streamers in your Discord. So I didn't want to reach out to just anyone. In hindsight, maybe I should have. I did think about it because she is listed in I don't know how to say not non-cord, not
Nyan
cord,
card. Nyan card. Nyan
cord.
card.
Okay.
Nya.
Yeah, I can't. I
Nya.
have a really bad time with it, but maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. Support and mentorship. You publicly defended Miko against blacklists and harassment, emphasizing her love for Vocaloids and plushies. What motivates you to speak up
Yes.
so fiercely for her during tough times?
Because I had gotten to know her and see what she does on the daily and how she acts and how she treats people. And seeing firsthand how much of it was lies. It upset me. And the group against her comes after people so hard. They sneak into discords. They do all sorts of really weird things. They reach out to people randomly, and she she has to bear all of that struggle constantly, just constantly under siege. And it takes a toll. And she's a person, she has a heart, she has all of that, and she needs love from all the stuff she's constantly going under. She needs to know that somebody's in her corner because they're taking people that she knows, they're reaching out to them and actively trying to turn them. I've seen DM snips, I've seen other direct information, and it is literally an active ongoing campaign against her.
Yes.
And
Um,
it's wild.
Some of my mods have sent me. This might be a spoiler. DM subs from people that hate her that I have. So I've gathered plenty of information on a lot of the people that have these hate campaigns about her. Again, I'm a sneaky man. I'm a nice guy. I just don't trust people. I'm a sneaky guy. um, but I take my job for interviews very seriously because I do want the truth. I don't want to be malicious in any way.
Yeah.
Collaborations and shared moments. In one post, you celebrated, quote, the perfect day, including a model collab with, quote, Big Sis Akuma Miko. How did those
Yes.
collaboration sessions recharge you both emotionally?
I I was so happy that day. I was so um there was a group I did a game collab with. I had my normal stream go on that day. That stream went just better than I could have ever hoped. It was fun. I made friends laugh. Things went really well in my personal life that day as well. And to cap it off at the end of the day, I was like, "Hey Miko, can I join you with my model and we can be on screen together?" And she's like, "Yes, let's do this." And she knew I was exhausted. She knew I was tired. She knew I had been going through a lot of medical stuff. And I actually ended up falling asleep on stream.
Really?
Yeah, I was up there for hours just hanging out with everybody in the community while she was drawing and we were talking about things. And what made it even cuter is the way our models were lined up when I fell asleep. I kind of did a this where I leaned over slowly, and it looks like I was resting my head on her shoulder and I was just out. And this was after a couple hours. She streams really, really late. It was like I think 2 a.m. in the morning for me. And yeah, it was just late. I've been going long. I I sleep about 12 hours a day given my condition. It's I need extra rest constantly. So, and she knows this and she laughed about it and it was really sweet. It was really funny in the morning because I'm like, I was streaming, hubby. How did I get to bed? And he just laughed at me. He giggled.
Hmm.
He's like, yeah, I got you to bed. They messaged him.
That's very nice. It's very sweet. I got a DM. How do you decide who comes on the stream and who can be invited? So either they're friends of friends. So like if a VTuber I know knows another VTuber, they can recommend someone and get me in touch with them. If it is public reception, if you like at someone and they write to me, direct, or I reach out to them. That's how it works. But it's usually friends of friends. So like Starcat could say someone and I could, you know, reach out to someone that she says. Or if like how I went from Nines to Saturn. Usually that's how it works. I found Starcat through, you know, the original controversy with Shiro, the thing through Shiro. So yeah.
Random discovery of Orange Cat.
I it was quite the it was something. Unexpected. Unexpected new friend. Challenges and resilience. You've
Uh-oh.
mentioned crying over accusations that you felt were only friends. Wait. You mentioned crying over accusations that you were only friends with Miko for, quote, clout. And her response was powerful defense. How did that moment deepen your trust in each other?
That she is a much bigger streamer than me. She has a bigger group than me. I've seen how other creators have gotten if they have felt that people were only around them for clout. And that had been a minor seated fear of mine since we had become friends, that I didn't want her to feel like I was just there, for being in her orbit kind of thing. I had intentionally distanced myself from certain community activities. I had tried to keep my stream separate from her, support her, but not like try and bring her in or things like
Mm,
that, so that I was doing my own thing separately. And what had happened was in the middle of a stream, somebody DM'd me and wanted to chat real quick, and they had a Discord profile image that I recognized. I think they may have like ripped somebody's profile image to try and trick me. And first thing is, they're like, "Hey, I'm a VTuber manager. I want to be your manager. Do you want me to be your manager?" And it's like, well, one, if you knew anything about me, I'm in the middle of a stream and you're asking this, which is weird. And when I turned them down, they went into this long rant about me only being Miko's friend for clout and this other stuff. Um,
How
I was
silly.
in the middle of stream. Yeah,
Yes.
mid-stream, trying to maintain stream and trying to maintain
X
composure.
X Beam said, "Do not redeem, bro." Do you know
So
that's the Indian meme? Go ahead,
I
continue.
do not know that meme. I
It's
do
it's
not
a
know that meme.
scammer meme when someone's trying to scam you. They say, "Do not
Yeah,
redeem."
so I basically deleted the convo. I'm like, I just hit the X on the convo, made it go away so I could get through the rest of the stream. And then because I couldn't really focus on it and process it in the moment, it kind of did that little brainwormy thing. And so I made it through stream, and then I went to and talked to Miko. And while I was talking to Miko, it just, I had tried so hard to stay isolated from her in certain ways to show that I wasn't there just to be her friend for whatever. And in that
You shouldn't have to
moment,
do that.
the
She's your friend.
yeah, she's my friend, and I know that. And I know she would have been okay all along with me being around more and doing things like that. But in that moment, it made that fear go away with how she defended me. And ever since, we've been closer than ever,
That's amazing.
including fake doxing each other.
Uh, Beastkid says, "Ain't that always the way with Orange Cat?" Yeah, you always find orange cats just out on the streets. Grim
Orange cat doing orange
Panda,
cat
thank
things.
you for the follow. I've interviewed two Twitch partners, one of which, Bob, at the time, I think it was an interview, but I was on his stream too, which is about equal or might be larger than Miko now. So I don't do these interviews for clout either. And I was telling Starcat before this interview, that's clout is not my cup of tea. Personal touches and affection. You've said your IRL names, quote, somewhat identical.
Yes.
One of these days I might have to guess your IRL name. Now, and even wove the Maine Coon cat lore together in voice chat. How does these personal overlaps make your friendship feel like fate?
It makes it feel like she's a friend that should have always been in my life from the very beginning. And it makes it amazing to call her my big sis. It warms my heart every time I say it. It's like the best intended term of endearment ever. She's basically family at this point. Let's face it, she's family.
Future dreams and gratitude. Last two questions
Okay.
on Mika. In your Google Doc, you drop quote, "You cured love, saying she's your best friend imaginable. How could you sum up what Miko means to you in one word, and what would it be and why?" One word.
One word. One word. Okay. We're looking for a word. We're looking for a word. Um, heart.
And why?
Because she just my hearts are red and blue when I put red and blue down. And one heart can go to my hubby, and one heart can go to my friend. And the blue one's for her.
Good answer. Looking ahead with all the stars you're chasing now. See what I did there? See. How did you
Bling,
envision
bling,
your
bling,
friendship
bling.
with others evolving as your VTubing careers keep moving?
I have concerns.
Oh,
I I have concerns because there's only so much time in the day. You look at somebody that's big and huge like Iron Mouse, how much time does she have to give personal attention to anyone
she doesn't.
and her
I don't think she
follower friends?
does.
There's nothing there.
Okay, there's nothing there.
if Zentrea, all these big ones, at most, if I ever got quote big, I wouldn't want to be any bigger than Kitsunero or Rosie Belmu. That is the biggest I would ever want to get because they are right on the edge of where there's not enough time in the day for them to talk to anybody. And if I want friends, that's not friends. That's an audience. Yeah. Barely acquaintances, if that. I want friends. I want to get to a point where if enough people are kind, they can buy, posters of cute art from me or do subs or things like that so I can continually get cute fresh art and keep production going for things feeling fresh and fun and all of that. I don't need to be Iron Mouse. I don't have the energy to be Iron Mouse given my condition. I would have to have a massive support team around me to be that big. And at that point, I'm not me. I'm some weird corporate entity and I'm just a figurehead of it. So if I do get bigger, I don't want to get anywhere near as big as Iron Mouse. That would break my heart, honestly, because I want to be able to have connection with my followers, and I still hate calling them my followers. I want to call them my friends. I would change that label on the platforms in a heartbeat.
All right. Well, we have the last 5 questions I wrote, and then community questions from others. The next question is questions based on Starcat quotes. I went through 300 pages of Discord messages for these quotes.
Oh, okay. No.
You talk a lot. I feel like, I mean, it wasn't that much compared to when I had to go through 9s and Shiros and Saturns, but still a good amount.
Imagine if I had been in the space for more than, 4 months.
I know. Oh. In your words, quote, I got into tech because of robotics, specifically photovores. I had hundreds of them skittering around my house. What was the moment with these photovores that made you realize tech was your calling?
Okay. So the best thing about photovores is they will never die. So you have a solar panel that feeds a simplistic mechanism that makes them chase light so they can feed themselves. And you can make them in any shape, in any design you want, as long as it's light enough to move around and get enough energy to do what it wants to do. And I love these things. You can make tons of them. They're not that expensive to make. They're very basic electronic components. And I drove my mom crazy because I would have little robots all over the place. And I love them. I love them so much. I would find broken electronics to salvage components out of to make them. And not have to buy more components. And it was just a love for creating something that felt alive. Because it had a purpose to do a thing and it felt alive. Even though no matter how silly it was, you could always throw some googly eyes on it. And it would just hunt the light all day. That's all it did, is hunt the light.
You once exclaimed, quote, on June 4th, 2025, I'm getting my model tonight. Ah! Yes! Looking back on that hyped up moment, what unexpected challenge or joy came with finally debuting your VTuber model?
The hardest thing, the absolute hardest thing was waiting until my birthday to debut. My model debut and my real birthday are the same day. That was done intentionally. And the hardest part was waiting. Like I had the model, I could get VTube Studio up, I could look around in it, I can bring her to life, and she is exactly what I wanted her to be. And I was excited and tinkering with things and trying to make sure everything was perfect when it already felt perfect. And the waiting was just painful. Every time I get a new piece of art, every time I get a new something, I can't sit on it. I have to show everyone because I love everything about it. And I want to share my love of it with everyone and help make them smile too if I can.
Question: You once shared, quote, "My mom is goth, cusses like a sailor, was on a wrestling team, always in black. I dress in pastels, try not to cuss, and hate violence." Emoji face. What's the funniest moment when your pastel anti-violent vibe clashed hilariously with your mom's goth sailor mouth wrestling energy?
Oh, it is really wild. It is really wild. She will say some spicy things from time to time and make me blush and make everybody around blush. But she, in her own way, is an absolute angel. And it's just interesting to see the difference between her and me. And I don't know where it developed. I have the same hyper energy vibe as her, but when it comes as being like the dark gothy, all of that, I never got that. I went the complete opposite direction, and I don't know why. I love colorful, bright pastel things. I love, all this stuff. And I don't know. She's been a tomboy, and I'm a girly girl, and it's just always been like that. I'm trying to think of a clashing moment, but I can't. It's sometimes certain opposites just fit together and help accompany each other. And I think I was the opposite that she needed in her life, and she was the opposite I needed in my life.
83.
Like,
Question: Reflecting on, quote, "My mom never pushed for child support, so she didn't have to let my bio dad in my life raffle. I have 8 stepmoms and no fewer than 5 half siblings. What role did the absence of your bio dad and the presence of multiple stepmoms play in forming your views on stability and support systems?"
so I did not get to talk to the stepmoms
Okay.
until after I became an adult, um, or any of the half siblings. My bio dad basically held me once and went for smokes and milk and never came back. And if he wants to show up, I got a bowl of Cheerios that could really use some milk. And if he wants to leave the milk and just continue on about his way, he can. But I'd really like that milk. Um, but in seriousness, it was hard. We lived in a campground a couple times, more than a couple times. We moved every 6 months. I didn't have friends in school growing up because I was always the new kid. Um, it was hard, just barely making it every time. We had multiple storms come through, wash away our tents, and everything we had in the world was gone. We had the clothes on our back, and that was it. And it can be hard, but things being hard can teach us. And it let me appreciate things at a younger age, even though it was difficult. Learning how to prepare for down times, learning how to get back up on your feet after you're knocked down. Also, seeing her strength. She had to drop out of high school, um, so she could work, so she could get food for us, so she can try and make things work. She was trying to find relationships all along. Some of them went very bad, some of them went extremely bad for me behind her back, but she did her best she could. Um, and good and bad, I wouldn't be me today without what I experienced. Life is about contrast, and we only know as much contrast as we've experienced. And those difficulties helped build contrast into my life from an early age to help me understand what's something that's something you should stress about to something that you may be able to worry about later because it's not really that important. And she's amazingly strong. She fought every step of the way, and I'm here today because of her. And as far as my bio dad's concerned, all he did was donate some DNA.
Question: You reflected, quote, and I want you to remember this. Every I in this quote is lowercase. You monster. Glad I chose Twitter over Blue Sky. I would be burning in a fire right now just for existing. I had a trans person with a Blue Sky tag in their name cuss me out for being intersex. I'm the reason why everyone believes in biology over identity. How has that encounter shaped your perspective on tensions between identity politics and the biological reality in online trans and intersex communities?
So it is, if you look at the medications, the treatments, the things that people that are trans go through, a lot of those are the same things that intersex people deal with. It's the same systems involved. It's the same hormones. It's the same. I got put on hormone blockers when I was little, and it almost liquefied my bones is the best way I could describe it. And they took me off of them very quickly because they were doing very bad things to my body that would have had long-term, lifelong ramifications. And I have been physically assaulted by a pair of trans people after a therapy group, bruised ribs and all, because I was unwilling to say that my condition was about how I felt and not about my biology. But that is not every trans person. There, you have a community of people that has its own divisions within it, and that doesn't get discussed very often. You have kind people that are fighting, their inner demons basically. They feel they should be something different. They just want to be what they are. They hide, they're peaceful, they just want to go about their life. You have other people that are culturalists, and they're more about the culture, and they're more about the fight, and they're more about the advocacy and being aggressive and defending and whatever it is. And it's a small percentage, but it's a loud percentage of that group. You know, if you have a tiny bucket of hate, it takes an ocean of kindness to drown it out. And the noisy people have been the ones that have been violent and aggressive towards me for being intersex. And I don't know why. Because I have a birth defect. I was born with it. It's not something I can control. It doesn't align with what they believe. Sure. But to me, that doesn't seem why they should be violent. But it's not all of them, right? It's not all of them that are trans. It's a few individuals that chose to do bad, right? It's not everybody within a class.
Like the ones,
it's a few bad individuals.
Like the ones that called you traitor.
Yeah. It's a few angry, bad individuals. And if there were people that called me a traitor, I mean, that just shows you more of what that community deals with. You've got the LGBTQIA in the long form and whatever they've added to it lately. And that I is supposed to stand for intersex. Well, I didn't agree to it. It's not that I don't like LGBT culture. It's that I feel that they are self-dividing themselves into a small little box and causing internal fractures and divisions. And these are people. They're not labels. Everybody has different needs. Everyone has different hopes. Everyone has different dreams. You shouldn't be fighting a Q versus an I or a T versus an L or, any of all this. People are just people. Why can't people just be people? Why do people have to be angry at people over who they go to bed with or what they feel they should be or any of that? Because everybody's their own unique individual. There's no need for harm or anger or aggression or any of it. And it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart every time I see it. Because the other thing I know is that 90+% of the people within those categories are just trying to live their life as normal, quiet people. And they're getting absolutely blown up by others with hate because of a small group that just wants to be angry and bring a bad name. to the others so they can have fun being culturalists.
It's often
Long
difficult
answer, but
to argue facts to those who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority. While, as I've said, it's the narcissists, etc. Manipulating and exploiting the systems and social media, I've seen maps, websites, I've reported to the Federal Cyber
Investigation, etc. All right, so you made it through all my questions. We're on community questions, but how did I do?
Uh-oh.
What did you think of? You think I was thorough?
I think you're thorough. Now I have a question for you.
Okay.
I have a question for you. Based on my responses to your questions, what do you think of me?
Well, I think you're probably the sweetest person and the nicest person I've had on stream.
Oh, thank you.
Not to say the others I've interviewed aren't nice or sweet. It, it's just that you've done a lot and shared a lot of kindness to others. And I fully think that you're going to grow as a VTuber, like it or not. You're going to be much bigger, and I think you'll be bigger than me in the end. There is a different perspective on this world that I like to see, and that's called forgiveness and kindness over hate and destruction. And you present that and personify that in a way that many can't. And that's why I really wanted you on this show. And I think going through this entire interview has just exclaimed and reinvigorated that taste in, your moral high ground, your moral ability to show that to people.
I try my best. I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint, but I do my best with what I got. And I appreciate you.
Excellent, sensible, and thoughtful, not afraid of addressing controversy, which is commendable and desired the day and age. Desired in this day and age. All right, community questions. Kodak asked you.
Oh no, brother bear. Okay.
How do you maintain the positive? How do you maintain the positivity you have with everything going on in your life?
This is the interesting one. No matter how bad today is, tomorrow is always a chance for things to be better. So as long as I have tomorrows, I have something to look forward to. It's the best way I can describe it. It's today may be bad, but there's always a chance for tomorrow to be better until there's no more tomorrows to be had.
Raging Bull asks, if you were trapped in Britain, what would you do? He did multiple. Some of these did multiple.
If I was trapped in Britain, what would I do? First thing is I would log into the local Wi-Fi router to let Hatsune Miku out because she's an AI and doesn't have ID for ID verification to get out. That would probably be my first step. Second one, I probably want to see the royal jewels. They've got some nice history there.
After discovering Starcat only a couple days ago, she has been very enjoyable to watch, interact with, is very sweet, fun, very strong, great personality. Raging Bull asks,
Oh, thank you.
if you ever had to choose between a sirloin prepped in a Michelin star chef, or you got 3 pounds of the highest grade tuna, but you have to prep it yourself, what do you choose?
Oh, this one's easy. I'm allergic to anything out of the ocean, basically.
Me
I would have
too.
to go with the sirloin.
Agreed. Based answer.
I mean, worst case, I hit the EpiPen and then try and have some fatty tuna, I guess, because I'm a cat girl, but not worth it.
If you suddenly woke up as Darkside Phil, how would you fix your career?
Darkside Phil.
Do you know who that is?
Is that the person that they called a lol cow? I think it was.
How do I put this in a good way? He was the one who accidentally streamed himself masturbating. But
Well,
didn't show his private
I don't
parts.
know. I don't know why he's fishing on stream in his bedroom. Like I hope he was at least good putting a worm on a fish hook. You know, you go fishing, you get that hook stuck in your hand, and then like, you try and get it out and you try and cast and you catch yourself on the ear after you got the bait on the hook, and
He finished himself one way or another. It's so silly. Okay.
but trying to recover from, I don't know, if you can't figure out how to put the bait on the hook to go catch a fish, I would probably try and do a live stream on a fishing boat, and I don't know, maybe catch some bass. I think it'd be safe out there. Like, protective isolation wise, there'd be no other people on the boat except for me and hubby, and then I could just fish on camera or something. I mean, I'm no masturbator. I'm just a baiter. I'm not a professional at it, but
So it's so stupid that it's funny. I hate it. Oh my gosh. Give me a second. I gotta compose myself. I wasn't ready.
wait, did I miss context on
No,
something? I miss context on things a lot.
Oh,
Usually I have Stasha to guide me if I mess up context. Stasha, are you still in chat? Did I mess up? Stasha?
she's in a 10-second
you?
ad, I think. I think she's in a 10
Oh no.
stuck in ad. Alright, the ad's over. You can ask her again.
Stasha, are you there? Did I mess up context? If you're still there. Cat girl confused. Are we not talking about fishing? I thought we were talking about fishing. Is this not fishing? Is this not a fishing thing?
I don't know. It's been 3
Oh
hours.
dear.
I feel like she is.
And I have to talk to her later. She might be cooking dinner. She is an amazing home
yes,
cook.
yes, she did. Scar said. FN Scar.
Oh no, I messed up, Scar. Oh no. Oh no. Can you explain it to me later, please? I'd appreciate it. Or at least let Stasha know. She has some explaining to do.
Okay.
Why did he put a fishing question in there anyway? That's confusing. Mr. Ball, why are you asking me about fishing? Are you okay?
Yeah. Alice Damon, who's a demon, Alice Demon, is a VTuber. I don't think you know her, but she's very nice, very sweet. My question would be, what got you into VTubing and what's your passion? Also, take care of yourself and wish you health and happiness.
Oh, first off, if you could message me their name, I will totally follow them after this for funsies. And I became a VTuber because I live in medical isolation and I am a social creature, and it felt like my soul was getting crushed just dealing with four walls. I have my amazing husband, I have my cats, but I'm more social than that. And I couldn't just sit in a room and just watch anime all day and slowly turn into dust over time. I needed something. And when I discovered VTubing, a light went on in my head, said, "This is perfection." And so at that moment, I went all in, like full speed. I wasn't going to wait. And I went into VTubing as quickly as I could because who knows how many tomorrows we have left sometimes, Just had to do it. And now my goal is to make friends, grow to where I can, get all the cute art and other things I need to keep things fresh and keep going for as long as I can and make as many friends as I can and have as much fun as I can and make as many people smile and laugh and have joy. Life is precious and I want everyone to smile.
All right, one is from Pally Callie, which I sent you both of their Twitter pages.
Thank you.
He is a super nice VTuber, fantastic. Both Alice and Pally have an emote. If you want to use them in Kick or Rumble, they both have an emote on my channel. Very nice people, and they're friends personally. I think Alice did Pally's model, maybe. I'm not sure. They're close. She said, What about asking her favorite foods to cheer her up are?
Okay, I call it my birthday
Yeah.
pizza. It is technically it's a triple pepperoni pizza with extra cheese, but I've discovered how to get quadruple pepperoni pizza. And basically, two types of pepperoni. You double up on both. You get 4 times as much pepperoni, and I want more pepperoni than crust. Basically, that is my ultimate birthday pizza. Every year, it's a goal to have that on my birthday. And then otherwise, if something gets me upset, it's all about the chocolate. I am a girl after all. It's all about the chocolate.
Hallie gave you a bunch because he is a silly man. Very nice.
Yeah.
Um, I can't. But before we move on, pizza. Well, the man you're looking at here is allergic to cheese, gluten, and yeast. So
Oh, you poor thing.
no pizza.
Um, um, what if we take lettuce and put some meat on it and some kind of melty food substitute and sauce and call it almost a pizza?
Almost a pizza. Sounds good. Enjoyable. Ooh. I'm gonna read it like him. And also, if she feels free in the online world.
Free in the online world. Um, in Sword Art Online second season, there's a girl with a terminal condition, and in her real life, she's beaten, broken, and battered because of her condition, living in a machine. But online, she's free to be herself, perfectly healthy, and could do anything the world throws at her. And it's a bit like that. My body may be broken and hurt and all that all the time, but online, as long as I have energy for it, I feel like I could do anything as long as it's digital.
Ooh. There's also her dreams. Like, what would she want if she could have anything in the world?
Anything in the world other than the obvious world peace.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to have a house with other close streamer friends to where we could just collab in person and work together on everything and have fun all the time. It's something that I know will never happen because of the isolation thing, but if it could, if we just had all the resources to do what we wanted as streamers and have fun together and have amazing fun and get my hubby in there with his whole own setup too so he could be a part of it right in the dead center, it would just be amazing life. Greedy,
Ooh.
I know. It's greedy to want that for myself, but
Ooh, and VTuber related stuff. What about characteristics of her favorite type of people to commission?
my favorite type of people to commission, I love YCH art because it can both be done quickly and for a good price. Um, you know, limited budget, disabled, pretty much no income. I have to be careful about what I choose to spend on and why. My favorite company is Nova Y Studio. I have so much art from them, it's insane. And you get for full commercial reprint rights. The art is stunning every time. And it's like $60. And so I absolutely adore them. I have their whole catalog right now. And other than that is I look for kind of a balance between quality and cost, just so that I can get good things that are cute and not break the bank. But they have to look professional, and the artist has to have a good amount of reviews because there's so many art scammers out there. It's scary.
What's her favorite part about her own design? It says own design or model. If you want to do both, that's fine.
My floofy tail.
Okay.
I would love to be able to just grab my floofy tail in real life and just hug it and use it as a blanket while I sleep. I mean, look at this thing. It's so floofy. It's so floofy. Although the floppy ears are a close second because if I didn't have floppy ears, I'd look like a fox instead of a cat girl.
Mm. If there were any cool things about making the design or model that had to be cut.
Trying to think. Originally, I was going to have this big giant staff, but I couldn't afford the animations for it. And it was going to have two swirling cat spirits, one red and one blue. It was going to be something that was very expensive to implement on top of everything else. So it actually got cut, but I'm still going to refer to that in my journal. In my Isekai journal, my character has a staff and a red and blue cat spirit.
And for anyone watching, the journal, as she said, is in Miko's server.
Hand cord.
All right. Ghostface asks, what is your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration for VTubing,
Yeah, what
it's
is
Miko.
Okay, that is... No, it said what, not who.
What is my biggest inspiration? Existence. No, like it. I mean, it sounds weird, right?
I mean, yeah.
But I exist, therefore I must move forward. Sitting idle, sitting still, just
didn't feel fun.
Slowly becoming nothing. That's not a thing. That is not an existence. Existence is moving forward and progressing and making your way in the world. Existence is not sitting in a dark hole rotting away until you no longer exist. So my biggest motivation is I exist, therefore I must progress.
Well,
no matter how little it is or how hard it is.
Well, if you exist, therefore I am. If I exist, therefore I am. That's the quote. My mom is a doctor in psychology, therapist.
Oh.
Who do you look up the most? Well, you answer that one. This is Ghostface.
Ghostface.
Wait, who do you look up to the most? Is what Ghostface asks.
Ghostface.
You look up to Ghostface.
So behind Miko, behind me, behind everybody in the community, over there at Nyancord, is Ghostface. And he works himself to the absolute bone in real life, nonstop, barely time for anything. And every minute he has to spare, he is trying to cheer people up. He is trying to support people. He is trying to do the best he can with the time he has and financially supporting people that run into hard times or run into trouble. He is a constant hand in the shadows in that community, being an absolute blessing that people know he's there, but they don't see everything he does or how he helps or how he supports or how he cheers people up. He is literally Ghostface. He is a ghost in the shadows. And he deserves so much more credit and praise than anybody will ever know.
Maybe when I research Miko, he might have insight. I'll ask him for a community question then. Of course, Starcat, you would get asked for one also.
I will ask Miko who is her favorite little sister.
Poison? Yeah, Poison. Asks, what inspires you to get into VTubing and what keeps you going?
Well, as we know, I got into VTubing because of injury. And what keeps me going, even when controversies pop up or things like that, is the amazing friends, the digital family I've made. We brushed lightly on it. I moved a lot, didn't have the best family interactions or, getting to know my real family very much when I was younger. And I kind of select friends to fill roles of family that I wish I had because they're closer to me than family I actually have. And the people I choose as my chosen family keep me going. They help me stay stable. They help me keep moving forward. They pull me back when I go too far, and they also pull me back when I'm pushing myself too hard. And so my friends and family are why I keep going, and my husband and my precious cats. It's just, I know I exist to be me, but my continued existence is for them.
And we have one last question for you here. One more. Akuma Miko asks, honestly, like, why has she been able to hold on to being so nice to others? She's the nicest person I've ever met, and even when someone is spitting in her face, she just turns the other cheek.
That's, I always try and be my best to be kind. I try and think logically in situations. I'm not perfect. I get ingy like anybody else. I have my flusters and my frustrations and all of that. But I think part of it is just trying to see what really needs a fight and what can just be let go. And sometimes, if somebody's being a bully, if you absolutely want to make a bully rage deep in their soul, you just lived your best life right in front of them. Because bullies live on hate. And if you don't have hate, all they can eat and feast on is their own sadness. So if somebody wants to be mad, if they want to be angry, if they want to be a bully, I will find happiness and live my best life right in front of them because they aren't worth the sadness. And I hope they find happiness and joy so they don't have to be a bully either.
And that's it. You've made it through all the questions. Right when my internet's dying, by the way. There's like a snowstorm, so good timing, huh?
Oh no.
We have like
I know, all the snow.
kilobytes. We're still live. It's just bad quality. But yeah, you made it through. You made it through all
survived.
101 pages in 3 hours and 15 minutes. You know what?
Wow.
You talked a lot less than Saturday night. I'd give you that one.
You thought I was
You
going to
had
be here
more
for like
questions.
4 hours.
Yeah, I thought you'd be here for a while.
I tried to keep it fairly brief. I tried.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would have sat here all day.
Boing, 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 boing. I even kept my boings to a minimum, which is like a
Okay.
patent trademark thing apparently. Everybody develops a streamer tick in the
Yeah.
VTuber space, it feels like, and mine is just boing. Boing, 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 boing.
Well, before we go, there's a couple things. One, is there anything the chatters want to ask Starcap directly? This is your chance. You're gonna get like a minute to write something. Well,
Chitty chatters.
Yep. Boostkit B said, "Thanks so much, Starcat and Dawn. Miss Starcat, it was great seeing you for the first time. I hope as you keep growing, you'll consider popping in on us over here on Rumble." Oh, how sweet. Yes. Yes.
I am learning the platforms one at a time because it's a lot to learn with each one. And eventually I will be branch.
She just got muted. She's muted. She's not making noise. Something's happening. Can you hear me, Star? Hello? I can't hear her. Uh-oh. Uh-ohs. Star, you want me to end the call and call you back? Just like flop your ears or something. I can't hear her. I think she can hear me. Let me give her like a recall. Can you say something? Hello? I can't hear you. Okay. Hello? Sabotage.
Oh, there you
And-
are.
oh, we're
Oh, my
back!
ears. My little floopy ears. I turned everything up like, is it me?
No. Okay, what? Here, answer B's question again because you just disappeared. Thank you so much, Starcat and
Oh.
Dawn. Miss Starcat, it was great seeing you for the first time. I hope as you keep growing, you'll consider popping in on us over here in Rumble.
I am learning the platforms as I go one at a time. And as I get confident with them, I will be branching out. So don't discount me popping up somewhere else in the near future. It could be a thing. It could be a thing.
Yes. I have made Rumble my main platform because of what Twitch did to me, and I became a partner on Rumble, and people seem to like it there. So I'm always appreciative of people on Rumble. Spicer said, "Have a good night."
Thank you.
North said, "Thanks for the interview."
Hey, Nora.
Let's see here.
Boing, boing, boing.
Okay. And yeah, so I guess we're just gonna announce who's coming up next. So she's coming up next. It should be this upcoming Saturday. Cunell, the VTuber, will be the next interviewee. So if you want to see that VTuber, come meet me on Saturday. Tomorrow and until Saturday, we're going to have gaming streams, normal gaming stream. As always, anyone can pop in for my Discord and VC. We just come and chit-chat. Anyone watching in chat can come chit-chat. But the next main interview will be with Cunell, the VTuber. So, yeah, I will see you all then. Starcat, would you like to say any closing remarks? B says your tail's like a goldfish tail.
I love my tail. It's so fluffy. But yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you everybody that's been hanging out and watching and listening to a silly orange cat like me. And I really appreciate it. And I had a blast. And I hope you have many, many amazing interviews in the future. You've been absolutely wonderful and precious.
Oh, thank you. And I'm glad to have you on my stream. This was a wonderful time. Definitely one of the sweetest interviews I've had, and I've definitely appreciate it. So, yeah, I will catch you all in the next one.